Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about
that?
All right, Joseph. It's October 19th.
Yeah.
It's going to be October 20th.
It is crazy how close to the end of the year it is.
It's close to the end, but it's still far away.
Yeah.
It's crazy too because we recorded this episode a day later.
Yes. Yeah, my kid and my wife went off on a trip, and I had to wake up super early to get them to the airport. So I needed to be.
But it works out good though, because now we could talk about Loki episode 2 and Loki episode 3.
Yeah.
Where they decided to air Loki on Thursday nights, and they have an actual premiere time now, which I'm wondering if that's helping in the ratings at all. Makes it look a little more appointment television-y than just dumping it in the middle of the night, the day, technically the day before. Where people online are spoiling it, when you wake up, and people who wake up early and are like, oh, well, I guess I don't need to watch the show because it's ruined by
It definitely helps me with the online conversation about the show, to have it air at a certain time. But it's weird on a Thursday because so many of these shows have been on a Wednesday, but then we had Ahsoka.
She-Hulk was on a Thursday too.
Oh, okay. But Ahsoka had been on a Tuesday, which had kind of thrown me for a loop. So,
So what are we talking about today, Joseph?
All right, we're going to first talk about AI. I read a interesting article about AI, and you and I have been talking about AI for a while.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about Loki, episodes 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about Biden's address. Biden, right before Loki, Biden came out and said, I want to get
talk
this
about
done.
How much great he loves Loki, and he told us to watch episode 3.
Well, he gave it was a 15-minute address about an hour before Loki came on.
These two have nothing to do with each other.
They have nothing to do with each other.
Joseph's mind, they do, but they
this is a two-parter.
They literally have nothing. Hey, I got to do my speech tonight. No, you can't do that, Joseph Biden. Joseph R. Biden. That's when Loki episode 3 premieres. Oh, you're right, Jack.
Yeah, it was just it was like the old Thursday NBC block where you had back-to-back great shows.
Can't compete with Loki. It's just, you don't want to do that.
We're also going to talk about Jim Jordan's failed bid to become Speaker of the House, which is I guess he's going to try it again tomorrow.
And we're going to talk about what's going on in Israel Palestine too.
Yes,
that has to do with that is what the Joseph Biden President Biden's address was about. And then Jim Jordan's and the Republicans. I don't know. The never-ending saga for a Speaker of the House. I think I have a theory that this whole thing, and we'll talk about this. I think the whole thing's a work. I think I don't want an actual Speaker of the House.
I don't think that's a crazy theory. I don't agree, but I think there's something there. We're gonna talk about that short little guy, Patrick McHenry, who is currently sitting at the adult table in the in the house.
It's like watching Martin Short play a child in that. What was that called? Wilfred or?
Oh God, I forget that one. He plays he plays a leprechaun in Schmigadoon.
Yeah, but he played a little kid in a movie, and it was around the time Problem Child came out. It's Charles Grodin's in it, and it was just weird or something. I don't think I ever actually seen it. I was I can't see this. This looks bad. I never, even back then, I was like, I don't want to watch this. It's kind of like McHenry is when you see behind the scenes footage how Peter Jackson made the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, what he would do to make objects a little bigger so that
that forced perspective. Smaller.
Yeah, but then there'd be bigger props for the hobbits versus normal size for Gandalf and everything.
Yeah.
To create that effect. That's McHenry, but it's in real life. Okay, and then we're gonna talk about Trump's is gagging. Is that it? No, what is it?
He's been legally ordered to shut up, which
But
is
he
just,
hasn't.
no, he hasn't.
Nah, he hasn't.
Yeah, they said like within like a few hours he posted something that was like specifically prohibited by the gag order. I don't know where this is all going, but yeah, we're going to talk about the gag order, the partial gag order.
It's funny if he ends up going to jail for like a while just because he's like he can't follow like basic just you
Yeah.
know
Well,
like if
he
he ends up like
filed.
spending a night in prison just for like not being able to shut the fuck up for like
Yeah. um, he filed an appeal. Well, anyway, we'll talk about that when we talk about it, and then we're going to talk about Sarah Huckleberry Sanders and what
Sarah the
seemed.
Ogre Sanders.
Yeah, I saw. Um, she has like a weird little scandal going on in Arkansas that like has some momentum to it. Like it's
I mean, I'm sure nothing will come out of it, but like has to do with like a podium that costs
yeah.
a magical podium that costs $20,000, and we'll explain that later.
Yes, yeah. It's a great story. I mean, like it it's like Tracy Flick-esque, like it feels like a Matthew Broderick caper, So
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. Except if unless Tracy Flick was a nepotism hire.
Yeah. Well, it's a weird story. So anyway, okay, so we're going to talk about AI. And I read this op-ed piece in the Washington Post this morning, where a guy said he wrote a bunch of books and then found out that they were being used by an AI program.
How did he find out though? Like, what
He
did he do to like find out that it's being used?
he saw, I forget what this was with Meta. This different companies have like different AI programs. I forget if his
Yeah, like Google uses AI and Meta uses AI and Twitter uses AI.
Google's is called Bard. And anyway, he somehow went into uh the open source directory that constitutes the knowledge base of this AI and found that like several of his books were collected in a file called like book 3 or something like that. It was a weird kind of series of events.
That's
Anyway,
crazy.
the article is about these different authors, and they were like not major authors, they were like minor people. One was some guy had his books uploaded by Google. Another one is suing Meta. And his basic argument is like, look, there is no such thing as AI. All these things are like content curators and synthesizers and stealers, basically. They're just like they're taking our content, mixing it with other people's content and selling it. And I'm not getting any money. And that's bullshit because this is how I make my living. I write books for a living. And so he's suing them. And his big argument was like, it shouldn't be me suing them. It should be my publisher. It should be, big companies suing tech. And it was a really compelling argument. I read more about it later. And apparently another weird thing is that like a lot of academics are publishing their dissertations, and those are getting repackaged on
Oh yeah,
AI.
that's been a big issue. They say with education and everything in general. Like,
but even further, a lot of people like when I did a doctoral program and I got a degree and I had to publish my dissertation. It's available like in the library that you can go. There's like a single copy in a college in Georgia where you can find a copy of my book. People have been copying those and selling them on Amazon. Like
people are shitheads. The thing is, like, when technology makes it easier to steal art and writing, it makes it harder to stop them because it's harder to trace it. Like, there's so many of them. You're not going to get a lawyer be able to sue so many people, and especially when you're not even really making money off of that thing to begin with. Like, I've had art stolen by these t-shirt bots.
Yep.
I've had art stolen by. I had someone turn my art into a NFT once, and I was like, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I'm aware, but I'm pretty. If it was just that one, I guarantee it was more than that. And the thing that always pissed me off about that NFT was they took it down, but any sales that were made could not be like it was done. Like
it's etched into the blockchain. It's there.
Yeah.
It's
Which is bullshit. I think that's bullshit.
Yeah.
So I think AI, just like anything else, is just allows it makes it easier for thieves, uncreative scumbags who are smart enough to know that some, they don't have to pay a writer or an artist, something like that, and they could just, just do some prompts and they'll get the image they want and they'll try to sell it. Thankfully, some more reputable t-shirt companies online have done a decent job trying to not sell anything that has clearly been AI generated. But I think that's it. I just think whenever there's any kind of new technology, it makes it easier to just steal people's intellectual properties or work.
Well,
it's something that we go through, and the internet has made it easy for people to just steal art in general before AI. They could just find a high-res JPEG on Google and work with that, and they don't even care. Most of the time, these bootleggers don't give a shit if the quality looks good or not.
Yeah,
they'll use it anyway.
Well, they're going to make a buck and then move on. They're not.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, they're not cultivating a following or a.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
Yeah,
it's a quick buck and they move on to the next thing they steal.
And a lot of it too is like meme based. Like even back in the day, that the artists that were working on Spuds MacKenzie, I doubt they were like really dedicated to the craft per se. The companies wanted to turn out a product that they knew would sell for a summer and then never be seen again.
Right, but there's still bootleggers.
Yeah. You're right. That is like an apples.
Has nothing to do with Spuds MacKenzie lasted decades. What are you talking about? It was massive.
Spuds MacKenzie. I remember that summer, the big products were Spuds MacKenzie and Gumby.
And Big Johnson tees.
Big Johnson, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Big Johnson tees. Only the biggest douchebags wore those shirts in my junior high school. I'm amazed that those shirts were not just pulled immediately. It was all about
dick jokes. Yeah.
Literal dick joke, girl with huge boobs on the shirt, like a nerd with giant, just talking about his big dick. It was it's a crazy time you live in. So point is that it just allows these scumbags to just come in and same thing, and then also corporations. That's really what these strikes were about. I mean, the writers and even the actor strike that's still going on. The actor strike, they said the writer strike ended, but the acting strike's still going. There's no, who knows when that ends. They said that might go till next year, and which means they can't promote movies, they can't do any of that stuff. But the thing is that it allows these companies, even bigger companies, to commit theft because they could just use it as the guise of no, AI is generating it, and like you said, that what that article is about. AI, it is not. It's not missed minutes from Loki, which we'll get into that a little bit. It is right now, to me, just a huge theft machine. And anytime there's this new technology, it always takes months, if not years, for the courts, the legal system to catch up, to realize, hey, this shit is unethical, this is theft, there's lawsuits. So it's going on for years. And by that point, the companies that made this shit already made their bucks and moved on to something else. Like you said, the damage is done.
It is weird, even if let's say there were AI, because I think when people talk about AI now, it isn't really artificial intelligence. It's
like an algorithm.
It is. I mean, it just mixes stuff up. It's like I don't know the right way to describe it, but it doesn't generate anything new. It just synthesizes stuff that's already there. But even if it could be AI, it is kind of weird. If let's say there was a really great AI program and I said, write me a movie about write me a fish out of water story about a Detroit cop in Beverly Hills. I mean, eventually they're just going to rewrite Beverly Hills Cop. You know what I mean?
Because you told them to.
I know, but maybe in that instance. I
want a story about a guy who meets a girl through emails.
Right.
He's in Seattle and he's in New York.
Well, I mean, like a lot of.
And that's how we got Lethal Weapon.
Meg Ryan was getting too old for this shit. Well, I don't know. It just seems like it also seems like I guess what I'm getting at is like a creative dead end. Like I don't know. It does not seem.
Is with technology, AI, as we know, and I saw someone. I've seen a couple people post this. Technology was supposed to, in a utopian society and a dystopian society, AI, the way it should work, instead of stealing artists' work and creating content, or stealing content and the guys who are creating content, it would do all the labor.
Yeah.
So that we, the people, can
create art,
live a life, have kids, go to, educate, learn, make art, music, writing.
Yeah. That is the irony, is that like the future we were promised,
24/7 sex orgies,
the future we were promised,
drug use.
The future, yeah, right. The future we were promised was completely different.
Like when Bender became human, remember that?
Oh that? Yeah,
when Bender became human, and then he turned to like 1,000-pound man, and he died. He was going, whee! Like he's still alive. They're like, no, that's the air escaping out of him. Yeah. Well, he's dead, and he's like, whee! There's like such an episode. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that trauma. Yeah, it's like one of those what if stories. That's probably what would happen in humanity, is that most of us would just turn into like, if we didn't have to do work and everything was done, most people are not creating art. Most people are gonna like just do a shit ton of drugs and like
be like Clockwork Orange. Yeah, I don't know, but we were promised a different future. We were promised that the robots would be doing,
hell no.
Yeah.
Nah, dude. Not when guys like Elon Musk exist. You slave mines on Mars, dude. That's what it's all about.
I don't know. I made a
you at the party, Richter. See you at the party, Elon Musk.
I made a Chat GPT account and like tried to get it to generate stuff, and it worked. I mean, it works eerily well, but there's something like super off about it. Like I would never say like, oh, if you give me 10 pieces of content, I could tell you which are Chat GPT and which aren't. But I'll bet you I could come close. It's all repetitive. It's super generic and general.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like it's like odd. It's like people don't talk like this. There's something a little off.
It goes in circles.
Yeah, there's like a guy who leaves comments. I have in case you guys wondering, you want to see if you're a big fan of you still going on about that, check out my YouTube show. You Love Comic Books.
Yeah, right.
Talk about different things of comics and everything. And there's this one guy who always leaves a comment on every episode, and he clearly writes it with like an AI program or something. I don't even know. It's bizarre. I tell you, I'll send you them. You can read them. It's super fucking weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, this is not written by a human. Like, and if it is, there's something really wrong with this person. I don't know. But and if he's listening to this show, I mean, thank you. Thanks for watching.
Keep tuning in. Keep tuning.
Keep leaving those comments. It does help with the algorithm. But you are also freaking me out just a little bit. I usually just like the comment. I usually respond to everyone's comment, but that one I normally don't, because I'm like so close to being like, what the fuck is this?
I'll respond to it with my Sarah Connor YouTube account. Stop following me. Stop.
Yeah. No, I do not want to lose the followers. I want to get to 1,000 followers, so I can start making that YouTube money. Okay, I'm only 300, a little over 300 away.
There you go.
Generating that 30 cents a month or whatever. YouTube.
Well,
I don't know. You gotta have like 1 million views to make like a real living, I think, on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I think would be a good idea? I should go up to people in a mall.
Right.
Like nothing ever bad happens, right?
Yeah, rarely.
Shove it in their face and just annoy the fuck out of them. I think it'll be fine, right? Nothing bad will happen.
There's probably a list of states where that's safer to do than other states.
Right? Yeah, I probably just shouldn't do that. If you're a recent listener of you still going on about that. We talked about that in the previous episode. There was a story where a obnoxious YouTuber got shot in the gut by a guy who really did not care to be involved in some YouTube prank.
Yeah.
So point there was this artist. He was following my other account and he wrote me and he's like, you really should try out ChatGPT. It really helps out. I've seen more followers because it brings up like different kinds of hashtags.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
You mean to like write a caption for a video or?
No, for Instagram posts. Like,
oh, okay, yeah.
Type ChatGPT. Like, he's like, I had ChatGPT write my captions. And
yeah,
it's a more interesting caption that could help with the algorithm because people are staying on your post longer. They're reading the caption. They're looking at your post longer, which means people aren't scrolling by. They're going to like it. More people are going to see it. And I said, okay. But like, even like when I would talk to this guy in the past, I almost felt like he was using ChatGPT to talk. It was very strange.
Yeah.
Maybe he might just be like foreign, like another country, and he uses ChatGPT to like help him write in English, but it's like off and weird. And I could write my own long captions. I don't need to use ChatGPT. And I went on ChatGPT and I typed some stuff, and I was like, this is fucking stupid. It gave me one new hashtag, which hasn't helped at all. But one new hashtag that I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. I'll use that one. Never really. It's not like oh my god, I got new followers. But it's like even more bizarre because like, wait, why would like weird hashtags I didn't think of would get me more followers? Because if I'm not thinking of them, there's a good chance a lot of other people are not thinking of these weird hashtags either. You know, like But it was odd. I was like, I'm already like typing all this stuff in, and like if I want to make it more elaborate, I have to type in more stuff. And then anything it gives me, I'm gonna have to go over it again. Right. How is this saving me any fucking time? Like whenever I write something, I usually like look at it. I'll go back and forth in my mind and realize like, oh, the grammar's all fucked. You know, it's like when you send me the caption and I'm like, what a Joseph's using ChatGPT to write the captions in these episodes. I'm like, what is this? I have to like rearrange stuff, make it look like a human wrote it. But I'm just kidding. You did a great job.
Yeah. It is weird. Like I don't know. Different people think about.
You do that voice shit. You don't even write. I've seen it. You like say it, right?
Oh yeah.
Or do you say it?
Most of throughout the day, I would say 95% of the time I say it. I use voice dictation,
but doesn't it fuck it up?
Always. And then I usually fix it. The only time I don't is like every once in a while. I'll voice dictate it. I'll quickly look at it, and then like something will happen that distracts my attention. I hit send.
A shining light. a sound. The dog. TV.
Sound of
food.
The sound of the fridge opening. The sound but yeah, just like random things. But yeah, 95% of the time I'm voice dictating, and it always fucks it up. And I don't know. But yeah,
a lot of these things that are supposed to like save us time and do that. That's why I can't stand AI too, because the reality is that you're going to have a lot of garbage out there because people are just going to be like, well, I did it all for me. I don't do anything. And you're just going to have this like bizarre, like poorly worded captions. You're already seeing it on newspaper articles.
Oh,
and,
like,
bullshit like BuzzFeed and all these other like Forbes. They've been using it, AV Club and everything. And anyone who reads them probably are like, yeah, there's something off about this. But again, it's allowing the employers or the businesses, whatever, to use this as a way to pay people less money. Yeah. Because they could claim, oh, the AI did it. The AI did it.
Well, so often
I don't go ahead. What?
No, often too, it's used to cut corners and put low paid workers out of work. You know, I mean, a lot of it.
Or make well paid or decently paid people into low wage
Yeah.
That's the real thing. It's not the low paying, it's the people who were able to somehow even just barely eke out a living. It's attacking those people. It's an attack. It is a direct attack on the middle class.
You know what is
interesting? The hell you think the middle class is?
You know what is interesting though, and I guess this will be my not a. I also read the other day where in England, a chatbot told a mentally ill person that they should kill the Queen of England. Have you read this?
No.
Okay, so have you ever seen on TikTok? They used to be everywhere, and I haven't seen them lately. And I think I know why I haven't seen them lately. Have you seen that ad for Replica? It's like a really skeevy chatbot that's like it generates like a cartoon hot girl, and you can like have it.
I might have like run through it and not realize that's the name.
So it's called Replica, and it's with a K, not a C. And you it's like a hot chick cartoon character, and then it's like, do you want a friend or a romantic partner? And you pick, and then do you want a this or that? And then you pick, and anyway, you get this AI that's like your little friend on your phone. And you can talk to it about your day. You can ask it to remind you about upcoming appointments. Yeah, basically. But like they
Phoenix film.
They try to sell it as like it could also be like your version of Siri or something, you know. Anyway, this guy in England started talking to the Replica and said, like, you know, I think I should kill the Queen of England. And the Replica is like, you can do this. You got this, buddy. Like, I believe in you. And anyway, he fucking showed up to Buckingham Palace with a crossbow, like, to go kill the Queen of England, and they arrested him. Obviously, he didn't get through security or anything. But that's his defense, is that like, I'm mentally ill, and this chatbot told me to do it.
I mean, we had a president who told a ton of people to go destroy their lives on January 6th. It doesn't take much, you know.
No,
radio hosts who drive people up nuts to the point where they go kill like a doctor.
But you wonder, like,
or kill a 6-year-old child. We're going to talk about that later.
But you wonder, like, where the liability goes. Like, if you develop a product that tells people to go kill people, like, that's
why I said too the same thing with talk about that story of that delivery driver who shot that YouTuber.
Yeah.
Was he was like working for Grubhub or
something like that, DoorDash or something.
DoorDash, and I'm like, is DoorDash? I don't know which one it is, so don't sue me, DoorDash. Don't sue me, DoorDash. Were they held liable in any way?
I doubt it.
Technically, no, because it could claim, he's just an app user. Just an app user.
1099 employee.
He doesn't work for us. He's on our payroll. We don't give him. If he makes enough money, he gets a 1099. You know, like, and I mean, like, I was gonna say something I totally forgot. I don't know.
Well,
go ahead. What?
Speaking of AIs that kill people, we can start talking about Loki, if you want, because Miss Minutes was an AI who, I guess, started to kill people.
Did she kill anyone?
No, I don't think she's killed anyone, but she, I think she would have killed Ravana.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. All right, so before we move on, AI thing is just irritating, and like I said, it's definitely devalue. I said it's not even that it will hurt people who work in art and entertainment like that. It will devalue the art and entertainment. It will devalue the work, and we saw that be used in the opening of Secret Invasion, which was a telltale sign that show was gonna not be very good. Let me tell you, after seeing, like, especially this episode, Loki season 3 and episode 2 and episode 3, sorry, not season 3, season 2.
Yeah.
My God, the quality of Loki versus Secret Invasion is jarringly like, I can't even. I'm trying to think, like I don't know, last season of Slider where they had like no budget and it was on like the Sci-Fi channel and none of the original cast members were even on it anymore. That Secret Invasion and this show is like fantastic looking. It like just the artistry involved, set pieces, the costumes, the acting, the pacing.
Yeah, all the little effects, details are there.
Everything. It is insane. Because like I said, even if you watch like Secret Invasion, like man, some of the line delivery is bad. Like it's just bad. It's like it just shows you that like even a so-called good actor could not be good based on like bad direction. You know,
it really was. Secret Invasion in retrospect was real bad. I mean, there's some
I gave it like maybe like a C plus, B minus, and now after watching Loki, I give like Secret Invasion like a fucking D.
Yeah, any
for duty, for diarrhea.
Any positive things I have to say about Secret Invasion are just kind of like goodwill towards Nick Fury. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Goodwill towards Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, honestly, like, yeah. I mean, like, I like him. I want his projects to do well. It was kind of cool to see it.
Suffering. The guy's been involved with every mainstream, like
I just root for the guy, you know. I want him.
He's not tough, man.
I want him to get a fair shake.
He's only been in like every major property for the past like 40 years. It's crazy.
He had his own lightsaber design for him. He had his own.
Yeah, like purple makes no sense. You got to give me purple, George. Right. All right, give him purple. It makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Secret Invasion was real disappointing, but all the Loki episodes have been real good. I think
they're already season 1 that looked fantastic, but man, even this season looks better than season 1.
Yeah.
You know, am I thinking about it? Like just the quality of it looks
everything works.
I feel like a lot of this was filmed, even though I doubt it because Kiyu Kwan, I imagine, is a new addition. I doubt they filmed it before that Everything Always at Once, which blew him up.
Yeah,
clearly they hired him literally after that aired or something. There was so episode 2 and 3. It's gonna be out of order. We liked them. Episode 3 probably the best so far this season.
Oh yeah, episode 2 was fine. It was a little over my head.
It was better than the first episode.
Yeah, the first episode I felt like I did not remember season 1.
It was like okay episode 1. It was like, oh no, like yeah, it looks great. The quality like is there, but like is Marvel fucked? Like, you know what I mean? Did they like because the whole season was like that, but then episode 2 happened and things kind of picked up, and just the whole thing with Loki like torturing that guy with the cube, like that TVA agent that kind of went off the rails. And then like the episode 3 with bringing back the Victor Timely story with bringing back what's his face as a Kang variant or whatever. I don't know. It's weird. Do they even call him Kang, or they still just call him like He Who Remains?
No, they've only been
Kang
calling him
dropped, right?
I don't know. I know that Loki just refers to him as He Who Remains, and I've never heard the word Kang in this episode.
I swore
I don't think we've ever heard the word Kang
twice. I'm pretty sure they said it.
Well, they might have, but yeah, this last episode 3, was just really good. I think episode 1.
It was just I'm glad it's progressively got better as opposed to like got a good first episode, then 2 and 3 are stinkers, you know?
Yeah, this is the first one where I was like, there's usually an episode in a show like this where you begin to realize what's at stake. You begin to realize like, okay, these are good people, these are bad people, or these are ambiguous. You start to see, behind the curtain, so to speak. And this felt like that episode, like things are starting to click. And I'm still not 100% sure what's going on, but it felt like that kind of turning point episode, which was real fun.
That young guy who's works with what's her name, Sylvie?
Yes.
She works at McDonald's. She's kind of
Yeah.
funny. It's a good. That was a good ad for McDonald's in the second episode when like
sure
they were like, "Wow, this is great. This is the best food I've ever eaten. Wow. Oh wow." That guy who works at McDonald's is a young version of Mobius.
Oh, the Owen Wilson character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a young the guy that the young like teenager late teens guy who works with Sylvie at McDonald's, and she talks him in the end of episode two.
Right.
That is Mobius.
Is that supposed to be the case?
That's the rumor.
Okay.
And it would make sense.
It does make a lot of sense.
Because remember, they're all variants. Like I said, last season, we saw like when we saw Ravonna was like a school teacher, or maybe Rainifer was a school teacher at once. Like
right.
They it's crazy because they say she's been working with like for eons with Kang, but like it doesn't, they same thing with like Mobius. Like at some point he got scooped up, made part of the TVA, and because TVA kind of exists in its, even though it's like kind of parallel to modern times, but like it exists in its own little world, and like so you got characters that were there like hundreds of years. That's why the joke was in the second episode, or was it the first episode, when like we find out that Loki, the way the season finale ended season one, it made it feel like, oh, time was changed. That's why they didn't know who Loki was and Kang was running it. But that wasn't the case. He just went to the past. He went to like when it was Kang, and they decided to change it to make it like these three space elders.
It is
kind of whitewash, or whatever you want to call it, Kang away from, you didn't have giant statues of Kang hanging up. I liked when that ship crashes into Kang's face in the first episode.
That was a great scene. And it started, it was kind of, I always kind of thought that was like a cool kind of symbolic scene, because you could see like the facade cracking, things were just starting to fall apart. It was a great episode. I was very confused throughout the whole thing. I kept feeling like I was getting a clear sense of things, but not quite there yet. But it felt like in a good way.
The episode 3, I know it's crazy because I want to talk about 2, but we just watched 3.
Yeah.
And like, all right, so 2, to be real quick, they are trying to find Sylvie, and it's a little jarring because it jumps. It almost feels like we missed something. Between episode 1 and 2, there was a TV agent. Episode 1, it was kind of like a dick, and he gets sent on a mission, and then you find in episode 2 they're trying to find him, and I guess it's been years. He became like a successful actor in the 70s, and he's in this movie called The Zaniac, which is a reference to a Thor comic, which is insane. He gets taken back, and he won't reveal where Sylvie is, and Loki starts torturing him. He's like he's like becoming more like his evil self again in a way. And it's funny where Owen Wilson's like, no, don't do that. But then you find out he's working with them. Then he takes that cube and he's just like crushing him. Like he's going to like, and then you find out that like there's this rogue, it was that panel or whatever you want to call them. I don't know, the higher ups in the first. And that one lady was like leading a group where they're literally just blowing up variant timelines, which what literally kills, I don't know, billions of people. I don't know.
Yeah. It's real. It is real bizarre.
And a lot happens in that episode, and then there's something going on where like the whole thing's going to collapse, and they're like, well, the only one that can fix this is dead. It's He Who Remains, because it's like, I don't know, they need his palm print or something.
That's never made clear, but everyone seems to agree that you need him to kind of like
Kwan's character, what's his name? Opie, or what's it?
Or OB. And it's short for Ouroboros, which is the snake. The snake eating its own tail.
Well, that was great too, because in episode 2, right? Was it episode 2 or 1 where he's talking to? Oh, it was episode 1. He's talking to in the past to Obi.
And he's remembering it like in that was very clever.
It was like really funny, like how it's like this. endless. So he, I was gonna say this. Yeah, he basically says Obi that like, and he's the one who supposedly wrote the book on like the whole TVA thing.
The TVA manual.
The TVA manual. And he's it's great. So the beginning of the third episode, spoilers for everything we're talking about here. It takes place in like 1868, and you see a young this young black kid, and it's clearly like, okay, Ravonna basically secretly hands this kid through the door the TVA, the book that everyone uses that Obi made, and he gets it, and then the show, then they go to who is it? Loki and Owen Wilson's character go to 1898 or whatever it is. Like, obviously he's older now, and he's read the book, and you meet Victor Timely, and he's kind of like this con man. Like he's running like a whole. It's like it there was a lot of that, I guess, where there was all these inventors in the late 1800s.
Yeah.
It's like booming technology, and everybody was trying to get patents. So it was probably very common for that, where a lot of like scam artists would trick people into being like, oh, I have this technology, and it doesn't work, and they get this useless patent. That's like the era of Edison, and
it was like their version of NFTs.
Yeah, kind of. Well, no, NFTs are somehow worse because there's literally nothing. I gotta read this. There was like I gotta watch it. There's like a whole thing about like NFTs. Just the whole market is just completely collapsed. Like it's.
Oh yeah. It's.
So that was a weird on the time variance. The NFT. That's like a. There's people probably hoping that like the TVA comes and just like kind of wipes out.
Yeah, it resets that
of
time.
What NFT was from like 2019 to like now or whatever. Like they never exist. What's an NFT? I have no idea. But I have no money in my account. So yeah, they go, and then like everybody's there. You find out like Ravonna and Miss Minutes have been there. I mean, I'm assuming they didn't stay there for 30 years because then they would have aged 30 years. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
It's a little confusing still, but the thing is, like, he's like this guy, he doesn't know this version of Kang or whatever. He's like, what? But he talks about how he's limited to the technologies of the time. He has all these ideas, but like he can't do them because the technologies don't exist yet.
Right. The ideas are there, but he doesn't have the capacity to.
I'm wondering now if this is the Kang that we will all know, and he becomes Kang, because the joke is that it's like how the future creates the past. Kind of like the whole Terminator thing when you find Terminator 2.
Yeah.
The cyborg arm and chip from the Terminator from the first movie is how humanity creates AI, and that's how Skynet. And so it's like the whole future creating the past, that by Ravonna giving the TVA book to this young kid who was smart and everything, but the book obviously helped him, get even more. And I love, you see the photo of Obi in the book. I thought that was kind of fun.
That was good.
Photo of the writer. Yeah. He's such a goofy character. There was like rumors that they were going to reveal that Obi was a variant of Kang, actually, and that would be kind of like maybe a cool little like twist, because he's such a like goofy character, and it'd be kind of funny if you find out he's like the most evil motherfucker on the planet.
Well, there is like some it is a little confusing because Sylvie's a Loki variant, right? Like, and so like they don't necessarily have to look alike or be the same whatever. I mean, like a lot of the variants, I assume, like
I think
the Kang variants,
on who's writing it.
Yeah, but the Kang variants, I always got the impression that they all look like Jonathan Majors.
But they don't, because even if you remember that scene in the end of they were all variants, but in that scene in the end of Ant-Man, when they show all the Kangs, there was like one who looked like a monster. It was like all different.
That's true.
Variant. Yeah.
And obviously the Loki, there's a ton of different Loki variants in that great episode from season 1. One of them was like an alligator.
Yeah, that was not as far as I know, that was not Tom Hiddleston. That was just an alligator.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, I love that. That was so good. That
that
was
was
like,
great.
I hope they bring that alligator back,
Yeah,
dude.
that that was a great episode. But
Oh, that's
yeah,
like the best episode with Richard E. Grant as the older
yeah,
Loki. So
yeah.
good. Uh,
Well, this one was good.
and it, what you know, what was great about that episode, real quick.
Hmm,
That opened the door to Loki. So this Loki, remember the Loki we're watching in this series is a Loki from 2012, the first Avengers movie, where he escapes after being caught.
right, right,
Creating, and that's where the whole time variant thing, because it's like, dude, you just fucked up everything. You're now a variant because Loki has to exist in
right, right.
Ragnarok and Thor 2 and the beginning of Infinity War. You can't remove Loki from the timeline. He's important. So that's where the TVA got involved and everything.
Yeah.
So, but then in the end of in that episode, you meet Richard E. Grant, who was a variant, and he was wearing like the more classic
Yes.
Kirby drawing style. He talks about faking his death. Faking his death, that Thanos, tricking his brother, thinking that Thanos killed him, floated around space for a while, eventually landing somewhere. It opens the door to our Loki, or the Loki we had before the Infinity War. That Loki is still alive, actually.
Yeah, rather than
So,
no, that is,
and that this Loki has become is a variant because it opens the door to that. Actually, it's like that, because if you watch when he talks about it, it follows the same story. Like even though he's a variant, he's an older Loki. He talks about Thanos with the Infinity War. That's why I said I want to see that world where like everyone's in their like more traditional costumes,
comic
even like
accurate.
Thanos and everything. It just would be kind of fun and like just a cool image to like see that. But that was kind of a cool little trick. If they wanted, they could reference that. Like if they were
For sure.
back that Loki, they could say, "Hey, he's not dead." Because now, sorry, what were we gonna say? I know I brought that up, but say something about it.
I thought it was an interesting choice. This Victor Timely that we see here, I mean, he's kind of a thief. He's like a Wizard of Oz character.
Yeah,
he and that would make sense.
They called Loki called him a confidence man.
Yeah, but he's got like some sort of speech disorder or weird affect to his voice. He's like
I think he does that on purpose to play up the character, because when you see him and he's talking to Ravonna later and Miss Minutes, he's a little bit more like each changes. It's more like a theatrical, make him, you play up this character so it throws people off. So it's hard for them to have like a clear thought when you're talking to them.
See, I was waiting for him at some point in the episode to just talk perfectly like a
Kaiser Soze thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
That might happen in like the next episode.
Yeah,
it could be revealed, but I think what's going to happen here is that it's like the future creating the past. Yeah. This is going to be the Kang that we know. I don't know if it's the Kang from Ant-Man, but this is the Kang. This is going to be, he'll start out kind of good, maybe, or helping them.
Right.
Because the reason why they go back and get him is because they need he remains a Kang or whatever to restart this machine or whatever at the TVA. The Obi says only, and you killed them. The only one that could fix this is Kang, and he's dead.
Yeah.
So they go get him. Maybe they're thinking like he's the most harmless one because he's just this guy from like the 1800s. So he's limited to technology, doesn't have the ability. But that would be like the great twist in the end if you find out it was like, no, this is the Kang, and the TVA created him, and it's like just one big fucking loop. He gets killed, he's back. He says, "I'll be back," and like there's different variants. It would be kind of interesting if they do that. Like he ends up becoming like, he's just this like he's just kind of like a little con man. He's smart and everything, but he's not like he's not like killing people and looking to dominate. He's making a quick buck here and there. He's just like a grifter, I guess, or whatever.
But you could see him becoming a murderer, I think.
Well, I mean, I guess just because you know who the character is.
Well, he also he had no problem chucking Ravana off the boat.
Oh, he did
And
apologize. He made sure she got on she was on a life raft at least.
and he said like pretty emphatically, like, I don't partner with people. Like there were some like little clues in there that this guy was maybe like a little
he's still Kang variant, regardless. It's just like I said, this one's limited to the world he lives in. But it would be kind of cool if you find out that is the Kang that we all know.
Yeah.
And it all starts here of like thinking like, oh, we need him to fix things, and then he gets exposed to the technology and he knows how to use it, and then he creates more shit. I don't know. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
But the Miss Minutes thing was kind of funny when she's like talking to him. She's like, first of all, he has no idea what's going on because he's like, I didn't make you.
Right. Yeah.
Not that guy, or he's not that guy yet,
Right.
But she's like, why didn't you give me like a normal, like a human body? Like, her face on like the
mannequin
just somehow looked even more bizarre.
Oh, that was so creepy. Like, I that was such a weird sequence of events where like Ravana and Miss Minutes go off with Timely, and then Miss Minutes gets Timely to double cross Ravana, and then Timely double crosses Miss Minutes. It's just such a weird sequence of events, and I kind of got left. The one thing I didn't really understand at the end of it is like, what the fuck is going on with Miss Minutes? Like, what was she?
Well,
was her motivation simply
even in the first episode that she was like specifically worked for she wasn't this like lovable guide, this cartoon character guide that assisted like like Clippy from like Microsoft.
Right.
That's kind of what she is. But then you find out there's something more sinister about her, and she works directly with He Who Remains. And that was in the first episode.
Yeah.
I mean, the first season. It's revealed like in the last episode. Like, I don't know. It's kind of it's just like a funny character, but like it could be like evil. And I think because she looks like a goofy little cartoon, it can make the character a little scarier, actually.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But so Sylvie kicks Ravona into the end time, where He Remains is, and you see like his dead body.
Right.
Oh, that was kind of cool. Like him
just it was
dead, and he's like he's like all decaying and shit.
Yeah. And like you could see like pieces of like the building or the castle
everything's falling apart.
Yeah.
So she's gonna have to find a way to get the fuck out of there because.
Yeah, well, that was because like right before Sylvie kicked her into that place, she kept saying like, I kept dreaming about killing you more brutally each time, and so like I'm assuming that is the worst thing you could do to someone, is to like kick them to the end of time.
So the other thing too is that like especially like I like the interaction between Loki and Mobius. So like in the second episode, when they're just sitting there eating pie,
in
that room with the different
key lime pie.
Yeah, like I said, this is the style of the show. Like that room where they're eating pie, and
it's so perfect.
Like, the old timey, like we open the little drawer and pull out a piece. Like they had those places all the time. Like luncheonettes had those back in the day. So it's just like this. Everything, like the amount of effort put into this is like, it's as opposed to like, yeah, good. What?
Well, and it doesn't hurt that Hiddleston and Owen Wilson have like really great chemistry together. The characters and the actors, I mean, it all just.
Well, they're also talking about like, he brings up the whole thing about jet skis, and it's like, he says like, wouldn't you like to know what your life was or something? And he says that he would not want to, because what if it's great? And then he would be upset because it's like, you stole me from this great life. Like he would almost prefer that his life was terrible because he likes his life. He says, like, he says, I like what I do as the, in the TVA. This is all I know. But if I were to find out that like, I have this like wife and kids and like just living a great life, I would feel like I missed something. He's like, I much prefer to find out my life wasn't good.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
And I feel like that's why, like I said, the theory is that because it takes place in the early 80s, and I really feel like he probably got sucked up like in the 90s or something.
Yeah.
That kid that she's working with at McDonald's, the blonde hair, the white kid,
right,
has a similar build to Owen Wilson.
Yeah, an affect, yeah.
Yeah, that is supposed to be a younger Mobius, or the guy who will become Mobius. So
yeah, that makes sense.
I thought that was a cool little thing. And then like I liked when they go to the fair and he sees the statues and he's upset.
Yeah.
He's not there. It's like Odin, Thor, and then Balder.
Balder.
That was cool. I was like, yeah, Balder reference.
It was good.
Sell that Balder #1 miniseries comic I have.
It was real. It was real good, and I like that scene where Owen Wilson is like, "Yeah, I forget that you're one of them. You know, like you are a god." And I think that's kind of cool because
you kind of forget that in this series because he's just kind of become this like other TV agent who does have some powers, but you forget that like he's the fucking god of mischief.
Yeah,
like
he's like half god, half frost.
Even though we find out, remember in Thor, they're not really gods.
Right, they're just aliens.
They live like a very long life. I don't know.
Well, I thought.
Go ahead.
I thought that scene. I thought the pie scene from episode 2 was great, and I thought the Cracker Jack scene from this episode was great.
And what did Loki said they didn't taste good or something?
Yeah, it tastes like ass.
They said ash.
Oh, I thought he said ass.
I he said,
ash would make more sense. I mean, I thought that was like when I heard
I don't know
that,
why
I was
Cracker
like,
Jacks would taste like ash, but those things are delicious. I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, anyway, it was just such a cool scene.
Stale popcorn, yummy. Get that random peanut in the box. You ever get those?
Yeah.
And there's like 3 or 4 peanuts in there, and those are the best things.
Yeah,
I just want to eat those. I don't even want the fucking popcorn. Like
I used to eat Cracker Jack a lot when I was a kid. Yeah,
I did too. I feel like I'm wondering if like kids eat that today. Like I feel like back in the day, that was a very common thing, and now like you still get them, but it's definitely like old timey as shit.
Yeah,
prize that comes with it, and it's
I forgot about that. Yeah,
3D stickers, and I would touch it or shit my whole body because I had that texture on it. I hated it.
Or it would be like one of those tattoos, like the
shitty little tattoos with a little water. Yep. Yeah. So great episode. Show's great. I'm glad they finally. I was scared. I was like, oh no, they're gonna like drag us out, and we only get like 1 episode again at the end of the season with what's the actor's name again playing?
Is it Jonathan Majors? Is that
Jonathan Majors? Yeah. And I was like, oh man, like are they doing this? But no, I'm glad they brought him in episode 3.
Yep.
There's I think like 3 episodes left. It's 6 episodes.
Yeah, it's 6 episodes total. This feels like perfect timing because it seems like
perfect timely.
Yeah, it seems like the next episode should be not the big reveal, but all the pieces should be on the puzzle board at that point. And then episode 5 is kind of like the ramp up to the climax. You finish up the big conflict at the beginning of episode 6, and then you have like hey, the show's over. Why isn't it over? Because there's one more shoe to drop. So it feels like a really nice arc to this.
Yeah. And you know what's funny about the name Timely?
Is it related to time?
Well, that too, but also what Marvel Comics was called back in the day.
Oh, what was
Marvel
it?
wasn't Marvel until like Fantastic Four came out. In the 40s, I'm pretty sure. Let me make sure this before what's going on here? Where's my phone? Let me look it up. Timely Comics.
Okay.
That's what Marvel was in the 40s. Didn't become Marvel. It was Timely forever until like an entity that would evolve by the 1960s to become Marvel Comics. That's why it's kind of funny that he's called Timely.
Yeah, that is cool. Cool. Well, it's a great series so far. I'm real excited to see the next episode. And we have a couple new I think For All Mankind starts up again in a week or 2.
That Godzilla show.
That looks great. Apple. Monarch. Yeah. I'll bet you that's really good.
I hope so. Yeah.
Previews look amazing.
Yeah.
So All right, cool. So I guess that brings us to the more newsy part of the show. I watched Biden's speech tonight.
And I did.
I thought it was okay. It was
I
weird.
forgot.
I watched it. I was underwhelmed, and then I heard all the feedback about it, which was generally positive. And then I thought about it some more, and I was like, I thought I wanted a fiery, dark Brandon speech in which he kind of trolled the Republicans for not having their shit together. And that was clearly not what should have happened. What should have happened is what did happen, and that is Joe Biden gave like a pretty good, straightforward, old school speech.
This is in regard to everything going on in Israel with and Palestine and everything.
But he basically, his big job, I think, yes, it was mostly about Israel, but the Republicans, the current Republicans, want to send a ton of money to Israel and zero money to the Ukraine.
Well, that's what's going on with the Speak of Their House thing. We'll get to that later, but that's why I think they really want to fuck over the Ukraine for
right. I think
we talked about this in the last episode. That they said it like we need to take all the funds that we give to Ukraine and give to Israel.
Yeah,
and it's like complete horseshit because
Israel
giving Israel a ton of money so they can just burn, completely just decimate the Gaza Strip and the Palestinians. It does not have the same detrimental effect as it would having, and that's the sad reality. It's true, is that Russia invading and taking over the Ukraine would create a much bigger global problem.
Right.
And, I mean, Israel, what they're doing is insane. It's like there was like a story about like a hospital getting blown up, but then I was thinking, it's like hard. It's really hard to get good information. Then there, of course, Israel claims they didn't do it, but they did. And then there was like 500 people were not killed or something. And I'm like, do you know about this hospital?
Yeah, it's a weird dynamic where I don't think anyone's really sure yet as to what really happened. I know that
we'll never be given a good answer. That's
I know
the speech about then. I mean, it was like 15 minutes long. I mean,
Biden used the speech to tie those two things together, and it was really kind of effective because most people in Washington think we should send money to Israel, and they're divided on whether we should send money to the Ukraine. And Biden said, like, look, this is the same struggle. This is the same fight. We're fighting against forces opposed to freedom. And he said that Russia going into the Ukraine is anti-freedom. They're trying to, and he said Hamas attacking Israel is like anti-freedom.
I agree. I mean, listen, he's got to do his job to tell people you cannot drop the eye on the ball on the Ukraine, but these are not the same things.
No, I
and the reality is it's like funny. I saw George W. Bush rear his ugly head recently, and it was like, yeah, that makes sense. Being that Netanyahu, who is not popular in Israel,
he barely survived.
Popular. I don't even know how this guy has any political power anymore.
Because of shit like this, he had to form a coalition government with the
people. They let this happen.
Yeah.
They let this happen. They were like, why is there a music festival
6 miles?
Literally 3 miles away from the fence.
It is bananas that you would do that.
I mean, 3 miles isn't that close as you think, but that's still odd. It doesn't seem like it's a good place to have a huge music festival in this. I don't know. Isn't it fucked up too? Because don't they have people come Palestinians they're allowed to come in and work and but then they go through the fence and then they get kicked back
I don't know how it is currently. I mean, obviously currently
I'm sure that
I don't know how it's been over the last few years, but historically it was kind of an open border, and there would be people from Palestine going in, or the Gaza Strip going into Israel to work and stuff. And there are Arabs living in Israel. I mean, like, I saw this one guy on TikTok, and he's actually a good creator. And he was talking about he's a history guy, and he posts a lot about like white nationalism and Nazism in America and everything. Um, and he was, as a progressive, people were asking him like, I don't even know how to feel about this, and he said that the correct answer is you need to support the people of Palestine because they're being bombed and they're having food and water taken from them and X, Y, and Z. And he said, but you also really got to support the Jewish people in Israel. Now, you don't have to support Hamas or the right wing government of Israel, but you got to support both of these people because they're both.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like anything. It's like if the United States was like attacked and a ton of innocent people were killed, you killed a bunch of innocent people. Just like if like I don't know, like what's going on in Ukraine where Russia is killing innocent Ukrainians, but like if innocent Russians get killed in their country too, that's not good either.
Yeah, well,
like,
he said they're both like historically persecuted people that have strong ancestral ties to this land. I mean, they're
that's why I
both
always
like,
hate when like known anti-Semites or racist bigots, whatever, and they claim they support Israel. But it's like, yeah, you support one group that you don't really like,
yeah,
working at another group you don't like, and that's
that's
not
it. That's it.
that's not cool.
It does feel that way. Anyway, the speech kind of tied all those things together, and I disagree with some of the points Biden was making. Like, I'm not 100% on board with like this thing, but it was a good way of saying like, look, this is not this is not the time to like pick and choose sides per se. But I mean, I did phrase that right. He's like, this is not the time to say like we can either do Israel or the Ukraine. He said this is the time where like the United States needs to assert itself as anti-terror, anti authoritarian. Like, we need to assert ourselves in that capacity, and it worked pretty well. I mean, I think the speech worked in that regard. It was real serious. I mean, it
People
was
need to
not.
accept the fact that the United States has the ability to do multiple foreign operations.
Yeah, yeah,
That because the United States, most of the money goes to the military anyway. So what?
I
Yeah,
yeah, I get the thing
I
that.
just think from the long run, it is in the interest of the United States to make sure that the Ukraine does not fall into the hands of Putin.
Yeah, and that's where I get like a little weird on it. Let's just say I agreed 100% with uh uh Israel, and I agreed 100% with Ukraine, and I don't necessarily feel that way, but let's just say that's the case. Like, I think Israel's got it covered with Palestine. Like, I don't think they need a
They've
ton
been
of help.
bombing
I
the
mean,
shit out of them. Like
yeah,
there was this one attack in Israel, and how many people were killed? I mean, it's awful.
yeah.
How many people were killed in the end? Do you know?
I don't. I heard it was like 1,000 or something. It was a lot of people.
Yeah, it's awful, but like
But yeah, I mean, it seems like
White has
Israel's got
killed
it.
hundreds of thousands of Palestinians over the years.
Well, there's
Like,
been like 3 or 4,000 Palestinians dead in the last week.
yeah, and are
So
any of those the leadership of Hamas?
I think zero of them.
And then you hear lies from Israel and right wing politicians here where they say bullshit like, well, the Palestinians voted in
Yeah,
Hamas.
I don't.
And that's not true at all, because they said the last time there was any kind of election in Hamas was like over 15 years ago.
And it's
And most of
bullshit.
the
It's like
people,
saying I voted for Greg Abbott.
it's
I
like,
mean, like,
oh, well, that's more recent. It'd be like saying you voted for like George Herbert Walker Bush.
yeah, okay. Well, I mean,
Greg
yeah.
Abbott's still active.
Oh,
Sorry.
I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, as if Bush were still in power, yeah.
There
But like,
hasn't been an election in Palestine since 2006. And
and
I
it,
don't know,
yeah.
did they vote for Hamas? I don't think so.
No, I think that Hamas just won a lot of seats in like a parliament of sorts,
But like
and
there's no it's a bad faith thing to say. You're
yeah,
lying because there's no elections. And they say that like the population of Palestine is very young. because most of the people get killed there or their life expectancy is low.
Yeah.
So none of these people voted for Hamas. They were little children.
But regardless, like, I don't see
bullshit.
that
Okay,
Israel.
but you know what? You voted for. There were a lot of people that voted for like bad people. Do they deserve to get murdered by the large number? Like, no.
But
like,
to Biden's point, like, if they want to give money to Israel, like, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Like, I know countries do that with their allies, but like, I don't see that Israel really needs our help here, and I do see that the Ukraine needs our help. The Ukraine would be wiped off the map if they weren't getting assistance from other countries.
So we're giving money to, let's say, well, we're already giving a ton of money to Israel to begin with, so it's not like I don't. There's really no reason to give more money because we're already giving them a ton.
Yeah, I mean,
where's this money actually going? What's this being used for? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like an open checkbook.
Gaza's
I can't believe Israel used that money to blow up like 20,000 Palestinians. Like, yeah,
I have to imagine that
check.
How many bombs can you drop on 150 square miles? I mean, like, do you need
crazy.
more bombs? I mean, like,
yeah, it's like what, less than Rhode Island? Like, I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's probably like a $40 Uber ride from one end of the country to the other.
But yeah, I mean,
it's like,
it's probably seriously, like a half hour. It's like, wait, how many miles did you say it was?
I thought it was 150 square miles.
That's a lot of miles. But that's like square miles means like something else, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, it'd be like
10? Was it like 10 miles or something?
Like 15 miles by 10 miles or something, you know,
like a 20-minute drive.
Yeah, seriously, like a $30 or $40 Uber ride. Like, you could probably go from
$40 Uber ride. Where do you live? That seems cheap.
You could go from like Egypt through Palestine into Israel for like $50. You go through the whole country for like $50. I feel like
the rates have probably gone up since then.
Wow. Anyway,
peak rates during this whole conflict. But yeah, it's like I said, the comparison between what's going on, because the joke, you can make the comparison and say, well, okay, so we're funding the Ukrainians to help stop the invaders, which is Russia. So in theory, if we're following that model, shouldn't we be funding the Palestinians?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to, again, it's a band-aid. You're saying that the Palestinians and the Israelis are on a level playing field, and they're not. When one side can just turn off your electricity and water and cut you off completely from any resources, you're not on the same playing field. That's like saying, like, if me and you had a conversation with a billionaire or even a millionaire, that we're not on the same playing field.
No, different apples and oranges. Yeah.
We don't have we can't speak from the same things. We're not equals in any way whatsoever. Like,
it would seem like I don't necessarily. I hesitate to talk about it too much because it is such a weird thing. I keep going back to what that guy on TikTok said. He's not like some rando on TikTok. He's like a legitimate thinker and stuff. But it's like I do get the idea that, like, yes, the United States has to support a Jewish homeland in that region. That's real important. They are kind of besieged on all sides. It's like there's like, I get that. There's something there. They have like ancestral ties to that homeland, but like, there's a difference between that and this weirdo right-wing government that is currently running that country and what they're doing to other marginalized people. I mean, it just seems like, I don't know. The whole thing's just like difficult, and I can't look at any of what's going on and not think that, like, man, Palestine's getting completely fucked over here. You know, I mean, they always
will be. They always will be. It is, and like I said, you know, if anything, and again, this is like 9/11 all over again, where it's like, okay, 3,000 Americans were killed. Okay, now we give George W. Bush an open check to like basically start multiple wars and kill millions of people over a year period of time. And no one ever said, like, instead of it being like, well, wait, how did 3,000 people in America die, George W. Bush?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about that? And that's what's going on in Israel too. It's like, this is a security failure.
Is it? Yeah, it really is. I mean,
failure on Netanyahu and the Likud party's part. And we're giving them an open checkbook to go blow up and kill a bunch of children in an impoverished area.
Yeah.
In the claiming of that we're stopping Hamas or whatever boogeyman they want to come up with. And no one's saying, like, hey, man, how did you allow 1,000 people to get killed?
Yeah,
that's a joke. If it was like a progressive party and that happened under Israel, I guarantee you that. And same thing, if the Democrats were running the show and 9/11 happened,
look at the difference between
would be calling for the death of the president. They'd be demanding, had this happen, there would be endless hearings.
Just look at the difference between Benghazi and 9/11. You know,
Benghazi, you would have thought like 1 billion people died.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I mean, again, not devaluing life, but
no.
Like 4 soldiers were killed or something like that. And they turned that into like an endless talking point. And it was insane because during the Bush years, you would hear about NBC's, tons of United States embassies in that area would get attacked.
Yeah.
And tons of soldiers and people who worked in the embassies would get killed. And there was never one fucking hearing about it.
No. Well, 9/11 was like a big failure. You know, Condoleezza Rice had.
Saying. Yeah. Like, instead of like, yeah, George W. Bush, you said you went on that top of that mountain, that wreckage, and like 2 days, 3 days after it happened, said that I hear you, we're gonna go after the people who did this. And everyone's like, yeah, go get him. And he didn't do any of that. He starts a war in Iraq and an endless war in Afghanistan that didn't go anywhere. And no one ever said, like, hey, maybe we need to do, like, you know, they did some bullshit, the 9/11 hearing, which didn't amount to shit in the end.
Yeah.
I remember getting that book for some fucking bizarre reason.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, no one ever said, like, oh, we have those conspiracies and stuff, but, like, the conspiracy or not, at the end of the day, what's her name? The woman that worked for Bush.
Condoleezza Rice.
Condoleezza Rice was given a thing saying, like, Bin Laden's going to attack.
Probably it's on her desk, yeah.
And they ignored it. And supposedly Egypt has warned Israel about this attack and the fact that, like, this attack shouldn't have even happened. And no one's, like, questioning it. No one, like, in any power is like, yeah, Netanyahu should be removed completely from power because
this was a big failure. Yeah.
And all they're doing too is by attacking these people, all you're doing is endangering the lives of Israelis. There's going to be terrorist attacks now, random. You would hear about like the suicide bombers and stuff for years. You don't think there's going to be more of that? Like, this doesn't foster peace. This isn't, like, all this is going to do is just create more violence and make living in Israel more unsafe. Israel.
Well, you've basically revolutionized a whole new generation of people against you.
That's all they ever do constantly. Yeah. Same thing like what the United States does. And like, Israel is a tourist destination. There's gonna be people who are gonna be like, yeah, I'm not going there anytime soon. I was gonna go there, but I'm not fucking going there till I know this like blows over. But like,
today the State Department issued a worldwide alert. They said Americans anywhere overseas, anywhere, like in France, need to be on alert. You know, you should stay only in areas frequented by tourists. You should register with the State Department as a person traveling abroad.
The best who is they're not in that area.
So anyway, it's crazy. Anyway, the Biden speech went pretty
well.
There's
definitely a post 9/11 vibe I've been getting these past couple of weeks now. Like, I feel like,
you
know, the resurgence of Islamophobia.
Well, we saw that
chicken hawks rearing their ugly heads again. And
well, I've seen Ron DeSantis in particular start really going like anti-Arab.
Well, he said that insane thing about like how, what did he say about Palestinians? Like, they should not be allowed in this country or something. It was like something crazy. And I was like, fuck you, dude.
I saw Tim Scott on TV after Biden's speech. And
you mentioned something. What happened there?
He just got on there. And the interview, I forget her name, but she was real good. She's basically saying like, Israel and Egypt have agreed to let humanitarian aid go into the Gaza Strip, water, medicine, stuff like that. And Tim Scott's opposed to that. And the woman's like,
that's insane.
Why would trying to ask, right. and then she's like, well, why would you do that? And he's like, because any aid to the enemy, blah, blah, blah. And then the woman's like, Israel has agreed to this. Israel itself has said, yes, we should let in water.
That's the other
medicine.
thing I can't stand about the whole Israeli conflict, of any kind of conflict with Israel, anything like that, is you get all these like these chicken hawks and war hawks come in. They like, because they want to just, this is what they need. This is like the Republicans. They're trying to figure out how do we defeat Democrats in the next election. And they probably still believe like, okay, maybe we'll like not focus so much on the trans thing because it's a losing issue. But the one thing we always succeed on is fear of terrorism, fear of like invading. They're because that was the thing too. Like with these bullshit caravan stories for years, they would say like Palestinian terrorists were in these caravans, and like, I mean, just real.
Well, they're in kind of a bind because Biden, and not necessarily to my pleasure, but Biden is super supportive of Israel, and Israel seems to really
just like any other U.S. president would be. Let me tell you this, and we're going to talk about this in a second. Thank God Biden's president and not Donald Trump. Now, if anyone's going to tell me that Biden's this war hawk or whatever, no, that's not what I'm fucking talking about. I mean, like, he's just like any other fucking president. Like, they're going to support Israel. They're going to, like, I remember John Fetterman got a lot of shit because he came out and gave full support to Israel, and people were like, "What the hell, man?" A lot of the progressives were like, "Like, what do you expect? He's a senator." Like, Congress people could get away with shit like that, but senators, man, like, they're, I don't know. Even though Rand Paul's constantly like repeating shit from like Putin's anus or something, but I don't know. I'm not shocked by that. It didn't shock me about Fetterman being in Israel. It doesn't shock me one bit. Like, I would be more shocked if he was like, I mean, like, again, it's not like, and the thing is, like, they're attacking like the squad because, like, obviously some of them have like some personal like family there and stuff.
I forget her name, but one is Palestinian American.
I forgot her name too.
Yeah, she's from Minnesota. I think.
Omar.
No, it's another one. I think
is it Tlaib?
Jeez, I feel bad, but I don't remember.
I think it's Rashida Tlaib.
Could be.
And she was like denied. Israel denied her visiting. This was a couple of years ago. She wanted to visit like her grandma, and Israel wouldn't let her. Like, that's it. Okay, if Israel can deny a U.S. congressperson from visiting their relative in Palestine, then guess what? Palestine is a prison and not a country.
Right. That's true.
Our country can determine that a sitting politician, representative of another country, cannot visit their grandma in a supposedly different country.
Yeah. It's not a country.
That's what I'm saying. It's a bad faith argument when it is sign of a bad faith argument to compare what's going on with the Ukraine, Russia to what's going on with Israel and Palestine. It's not the same thing. And it bothers me, but like, oh, fuck, I don't know what we're gonna do. I mean, I think like in the end of the day, it's like Israel's really just like a satellite for like American, British, and like any other like that common goals, like, it's there as like hey, here's this small country that has like a shit ton of weapons and they're ready to use them at any time. And like they're a satellite of the United States. They're like the 51st state of the United. I feel like they're the 51st state of the United States.
Yeah. Well, it seems that way.
In some ways they are, except it's like it's run by like Republicans, the country. Like,
I do think it'll be tough because I know Ron DeSantis and Tim, a lot of those Republicans are like really amping up their pro-Israel bona fides, but like none of them are going to out Israel Joe Biden.
Well, I find it bizarre that, okay, so Ron DeSantis, who appeals to Nazis, he said that, that was it. He said that like he doesn't think Palestinians should be allowed in the country because they're anti-Semitic. And I'm like, who is this for? Because people who like you do not like Jews. Like,
but some of them like Israel.
Trying to trick like some moderate people. I mean, I'm assuming that's it. He's just trying to trick moderate people who have some bigoted tendencies, like it's Islamophobia and like that. And I mean, like, because the people who you have been trying to court for the past couple of years now, they push like they're like Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was hysterical. I was like, Ron DeSantis, who are you kidding?
Yeah, that is a weird take.
Like, who is this for? You're not going to get MAGA supporters on your side for that.
No.
I don't know. It's kind of funny. He's been like, I'll give this to Ron DeSantis, though. I've seen a couple things recently, and he's been really going after Trump and calling him out for being like weak and saying like, he's basically implying that he has dementia. Kind of like he's doing what the Republicans do to Biden all the time.
Yeah.
And he's starting to do that to Trump. And again, thank you. You're doing a good job. You're helping us. Thank you. Secret Agent Ron.
Yeah.
Pointing out that Donald Trump is
Well, I think DeSantis is going to do that. He has to do that more often. He's running out of runway.
Well, at this point, it's like, who cares? But it's like, you tried being mini Trump. It didn't work. The MAGA people don't support you. They support Trump. And honestly, the best thing to do is, if you really want to earn these chuds, it's all about who's, you instead of kissing Trump's ass, you should attack him.
Yeah.
Because these people love falling for strength.
That's all they respect is like
alpha dog. And alpha dog, Trump's the old dog. Go after him. Start talking about how he's out of shape. He said you were meatball Ron. Go ahead and say he's a fucking flaccid Trump or something. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Did you hear that Trump wants to go to Israel? First of all, they're like, he probably wouldn't even be allowed to go because he's like doing work tomorrow.
I think he had to surrender his passport. He had to surrender.
Did he?
No, I remember reading that they specifically did not make him surrender his passport because, like, theoretically, he should have. Like that would have any other person under that many indictments.
That should be the first thing. Yeah. You can't leave this country.
Well, and he also has like you could argue that like, well, they don't need to take like some rando's passport because maybe they don't have the means to travel. You know what I mean? Like they can't. They'd have to go through customs. They'd have to buy a plane ticket. But Trump could just hop on a private plane and go. Like he could have
the security disaster. He would want to make a big show of it. Like, you ever see like when he goes to court and he has like 10 cars following him? It's like
ridiculous.
So ridiculous. He would want to make a whole show out of it. He would want to be treated like he was president. It would be, and let me tell you, Netanyahu, that would be the biggest failure in his part, because if he were to kiss Trump's ass or in any way, like, I'd be Biden, like not Biden calling, but someone high up in the administration calling up and being like, "You're fucked."
Yeah, right.
You just fucked yourself, dude. Like you just fucking like that. The idea that Trump should not be allowed to go to Israel, I think that's a good disaster, and it's waiting to happen. That guy, let me tell you again, I'll say this. Thank God Biden's president during this. And again, even if Bernie Sanders was president, I guarantee you he would be in support of Israel.
I agree.
I think that they would have a talk with him and say, "You're United States president, and Israel is our ally, and you will give their undying support to them."
And well, you've also like probably signed treaties, and there's probably like.
I mean, Biden's trying to do like the eat your cake, have your cake and eat it too, by saying like, "Oh, we support, we don't think Palestinians should be killed and everything," but you still gave it like a what do you call it, like a unsigned check or something to Israel, or empty, where they could fill in the number and do what they want.
You mailed them 7 million bombs, to use.
What do you think they're going to do with those things? Do you think they're like, they're not snaps? Right. They got throw them in their backyard. Like they are literally throwing in their backyard. It's
true.
Gaza Strip, but like, imagine if Trump was president and this was going on. The amount of like chaos in this country, in the United States, there would be so many more deaths. There would be like attacks on so many attacks on any brown person these chuds could find.
Well, he'd be whipping up the rhetoric. Yeah.
What?
he'd be whipping up the rhetoric, and
Oh
yeah, I
my
mean, it
God.
would,
Yeah, you can't have that. Like it'd be complete fucking chaos.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, people are like angry that Biden's giving his full support to Israel. Like pretty much any United States president would. I mean, like that's just how it. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. This shit's been going on for decades.
yeah,
But Trump would just escalate it. He would exasperate the problem. He would say like think of the George Floyd riots. And we would have like
oh
riots in the
yeah,
street. They'd be like chaotic. They'd be like militias showing up and Boogaloo Boys showing up at like rallies and stuff. Like it'd be a fucking nightmare.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, we can give you an example. We're going to talk about this. Now, this obviously Biden's president, but we do have endless stream of right wing radio, probably more prevalent than ever. Right wing radio, right wing media, right wing
Mm-hmm.
and all that. Some 6-year-old Palestinian boy was killed by this old man, and it's a fact that he listens to right wing media.
Yeah,
And the fucked up story about this is that he was their what do you call it? Super, what is it like?
but like the
Landlord?
building, yeah, it was a crazy. I didn't realize that at first. You were the one who told me. I thought it was just some rando that
No,
killed a kid.
they
He
had a
knew that kid.
relationship.
Yeah,
He had a relationship with that family. They talked to neighbors and said that that little kid saw that old man almost like his grandfather,
yeah,
and he literally ran to him to get hugged, and the guy stabbed him.
yeah.
And it's
Fucking
insane because this guy gave
grotesque.
the kid a treehouse. Like this guy, yeah, he was like,
Well, it is. It's like getting a like one of those like from a J horror movie about like getting a virus that makes you kill people or something. I mean, it was
yeah,
like that
like
kind of
some,
thing.
yeah, some frequency goes off, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
everybody's like loses their fucking mind, and it's like that's what right wing radio and media is. It's a virus, dude. Like here's this guy who all of a sudden saw these people, and you kill a 6-year-old kid.
Yeah. Just gross.
The kid
Gross.
went to go hug him supposedly, and he stabbed and killed this kid. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This kid saw this guy as like a paternal figure.
Yep.
It's a little kid. See someone that's friendly to you in any way, you're just like, yeah, like, and like I said, it's not the guy made the kid a freaking treehouse. Like this is like he had a relationship. He was supposed to like a really good. They were tenants, but he was good with them.
Cool.
Knew who they were. I mean, I guess you hear these stories of people who are family members and they kill their family. You hear these stories.
Yeah. Well, you
Uh,
do. I do hear a lot of stories from uh like normal people that have a relative that goes full MAGA, like right wing talk radio, and these people say it's like losing them to like dementia or
it's
Alzheimer's or
it's
having,
really it breaks up families. Like it's
yeah,
so awful. Right wing media is like the biggest curse on this country. Like our country will never achieve anything relevant, or I mean anything that will help
right.
our society in any way for the positive. If right wing media exists the way it does,
Oh yeah. It's
like
just yeah.
it makes people go insane. It gets them to focus on the dumbest things. That's why I said like everything that's going on with the Speaker of the House. The people who vote for these kind of people, they don't give a shit. They don't care about functioning government. They're told
Yeah.
that like the
Yeah.
Democrats are like blood drinking, libel, like they're
It's we've talked about this a lot before, where you have some like Marjorie Taylor Greene that are probably like true believers in the cause. But I think the big problem currently with the House is that you have like Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert and essentially like what you said, you've called them failed theater kids. It's like people that have no real capacity for um
well,
the,
I joke that they're failed theater kids. They're like not serious people, but they have no convictions or whatever.
yeah, but they don't know what they're doing, like they don't have a good clear sense of
I think they
uh
know exactly what they're doing. They're chaos agents. They're there to
yeah,
do a specific thing. And again, what's up with this talent agency? What's it
yeah,
called? Somebody,
explore talent.
what is it? we've talked about this. Like all these like current right wing personalities, even Marjorie Taylor Greene, they all come from this thing.
Yeah, it is
and it's
bizarre.
super weird. It's like the alien. It's like the demon law firm from Angel.
Yeah, Wolfram Random Heart. Yeah,
yeah, Wolfram Random Heart. It's literally that. It's what the fuck is going on here? Like,
it is crazy that so many of them came. I think Madison Cawthorn was from there too.
yeah, he was. All of them. They're all
a lot
like
of them.
They're like weird actors. It's like they're just these bizarre grifters. Like they're not. It doesn't make any sense. They get in certain districts that are heavily red. They say a bunch of really crazy right wing shit that will get them fit whatever culture war Fox News is pushing.
Yeah,
get in, and then they're really hard to get out. And all they do is cause chaos because they're concerned about getting their name, getting their appearances on right wing media.
It is. It's just about fame, you know.
Yeah. And half of them, once they're finally voted out or they decide to leave, they'll go work for Newsmax or Fox or, or start their own podcast or whatever. Go work for fucking Tim Pool or something, and it's scaringly disgusting. And what's going on in the House, everyone keeps talking about like, oh, Jim Jordan's running and there's a bunch of Republicans that won't vote for him. And which is good. I'm glad, but it's not. It's like it's never going to end. And I honestly think that this whole thing is a work. The Republicans in general do not want federal government to work. They don't. They want the country to not have a budget so that government shuts down in a couple of weeks.
Clearly, they're all okay with that. They'd all prefer that than to compromise.
I think this whole thing's a work. I think what better way than not to have a functioning government is to be like, yeah, we're just going to come up with a Speaker of the House. Just going to do it. Going to come up with one. And it's a fucking work because Republicans get in line all the time. I truly don't believe that there's 20 Republicans that all of a sudden have a conscience of faith. And I'm like, yeah, I can't vote for Jim Jordan. He's a
that does seem weird.
Because I feel like if that was the case, then you would see like 5 or 6 or whatever those Republicans, they would vote for Hakeem Jeffries, and then there would be a Speaker of the House. Hakeem Jeffries would be the Speaker.
Yeah,
if they actually cared, but they don't. They don't want a functioning government. I think the whole thing is a huge work, and we're falling for it. It's theater done by a bunch of failed theater kids.
Well, all it would take is 5 or 6 Republicans to vote with the Democrats, and you'd have a Speaker Jeffries.
Yeah, tomorrow.
All it would take is 5 or 6 Democrats to vote with the Republicans, and they could have saved.
But they're not going to vote for Jim Jordan.
No. Why would they?
That would be insane. That's like when we talked about Nancy Mace, smartest woman, somehow she dumbest woman in Congress. I don't know how she did it. Boebert's like, thank you, Miss
right.
Nancy Mace was on a show. We talked about this last week, where she said she knew Democrats that supported Jim Jordan. And the guy, I think it was what's his face from CNN.
It was. I forget the guy's name. He's one of their popular anchors. He's like, wait a minute, what? From Jim Jordan from Ohio?
I don't think so. That sounds like bullshit. No,
Democrats?
I think the Democrats are I think the Democrats are 100% right in not voting. But the thing is, they don't have to. They're not the majority. You need a majority of this House to vote for a Speaker. Because I was asking you earlier, I said, why, if Jeffries has a majority over the Republicans, he's got like 20 votes more than Jim Jordan does.
He does.
Why is he not Speaker? And you said it has to be the majority of the entire House.
Yeah.
So there has to be 1/2, basically.
Yeah. So theoretically, honestly, the Democrats had the same slim margin, but when the Democrats voted on Pelosi being Speaker, they all voted for her. It was a done deal,
Well, she's not. The Republicans hate her, but like on the Democratic side, she's not a controversial figure. Regardless, of course, some tweets might be like, "Oh, she's held up this or she held up this." Yeah, we get that. But at the end of the day, she's a popular Democrat among Democrats, in that
she got shit done.
She's like a campaign fundraising machine. She's famous. Like the one thing I could tell you that Pelosi is she didn't endorse a violent coup on the country
Right.
channel. Looks like Jim Jordan. She didn't let a serial rapist go after students in Ohio like Jim Jordan did. It's not the same thing. No Democrat should have to vote for fucking Jim Jordan. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, that's the thing. Is like,
they're probably like,
should,
dude, if we're not going to vote for Kevin McCarthy, we are not voting for Jim Jordan.
Why should any Democrat vote for any Republican? Period.
Right.
You know, I mean, like, why? I mean, like, look, if the Republicans had the votes and they were going to get a speaker anyway, I could see Democrats from red districts voting for the speaker. Look, it's not going to change the outcome. They have all the votes they needed. I need to make it look like I can, I mean, I'm fine with that. But the idea that it's the Democrats' job to bail out the Republicans by voluntarily voting for a super shitty partisan hack, fuck that.
Yeah, Donald Trump puppet, the fuck whose main goal is to like take away funding from the Ukraine.
Yeah,
that's literally Jim Jordan wants to do, and also dissolve like anything to do with January 6th. Get the fuck out of here. I don't know. Like I said, I think the whole fucking thing's a work. I mean, the Republicans are dragging us out, and because, like I said, and I was gonna say, Kevin McCarthy, he's still working bad faith, getting interviewed even to this day, blaming the Democrats, saying it's all their fault they caused this, and it's like, what?
You guys agreed to let anyone bring to the floor a motion to vacate the speaker. That's the deal you made, Kevin McCarthy, with Matt Gaetz. And you know what? If you put the fucking scorpion on your back, you're going to get stung. That's what happened.
He still has Speaker of the House on his Twitter.
I know.
Or X,
so sad.
It still says Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House. So I don't know. I think the whole thing's a work. There's that McHenry guy. He doesn't really. Did we talk? We didn't talk about me and you.
No, not yet.
Okay, so McHenry is this little Oompa Loompa, or I guess he's in the Lollipop Guild.
Yes.
And he has a bow tie too, and it was crazy. He showed up. He had the big lollipop stick.
It was.
Yeah.
Marched, represented the Lollipop Guild.
That was weird. I didn't expect that. But this little guy, little goofball with the bow tie. He was given a gavel. He hit it really comically loud for some reason. He has no real power, right? Didn't they say they were trying to like even give him some power just to get a couple of things through?
Yeah, and he himself has said, I don't have power to do anything. Some people are pressuring him to try it and see what the courts say, but he really has no power.
Again, because he's a Republican and they have no interest in having the federal government work.
Right.
You don't want the federal government to work. They don't care about state governments are different because they can come up with whatever they want. They can get rid of all kinds of rights and everything. But federal government, a stronger federal government, can take those states that are bigoted and use that and be like,
and compel them.
You can't do that. No, you can't do that. And they don't want that. They want to weaken federal government. I don't think people realize that it's not, like when what's his face said years ago, I want to like take federal government and drown in a bathtub or something like that.
Yeah, was that Tom DeLay?
No, it was this fucking.
It was Grover Norquist.
Yeah, that fucking guy.
He said that right before Katrina.
Yeah, which is great because we need the federal government for that.
Right.
And like they hate the federal government because it. Now you could say like, oh well, yeah, the federal government prevents things from states being racist. It's not just that though. An abortion, all that. It's beyond that too. It's like. We want to make our state a tax shelter for rich people. We want to put in factories that don't have to have union work. We want to have states that don't have to follow the same guidelines. And less federal involvement, less the federal government can do anything about it, the less regulations involved. Yeah. That's why they fucking hate the federal government. That's something to do. I mean, the civil rights and everything, yeah, those are all important and everything like that.
Sure.
The main thing is to protect the rich and make sure and to remove like funding from things they don't like, education, dissolve public education. They want to weaken the federal government. And they figured this is how we're going to do it. We're going to make it not work by not putting can't agree on a speaker. That's insane. That's bullshit. I think the whole thing is bullshit. But McHenry, who claims he has no power, did have one power, very
Right.
important power, and this was important for him. So he was sitting, I guess, in the seat, and he looked comically small because he has like a big back.
Yeah.
And it's been revealed recently that he used the United States tax dollars to change the seat that he sits on, the podium or whatever,
Right.
where he doesn't look as tiny because it doesn't have a comically like large backing behind him or something.
Yes. Yeah. He ordered the Department of Commerce or whatever to manually print 3 telephone books for him to sit on.
Yeah, they have to be printed. Are you going to read them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I've seen photos on Twitter where he does look comically undersized, almost like a guest at like an Alice in Wonderland tea party type of thing.
Yeah. Or an Ant-Man movie.
Yeah. And then in the next photograph with his new chair, he looks like a normal adult-sized human.
Well, it's like how Peter Jackson filmed the Lord of the Rings movies, where he would put the people playing hobbits on bigger furniture so they appeared smaller. And that's what's going on here. But he ordered it to be mini size, so it looks more from the camera perspective.
Right.
So that's where he used his power.
Yeah, right.
That's as far as it goes, guys. And
well,
all of a sudden he comes in with like pec implants.
it is interesting. Like
Lifts.
Jim, I guess Jim Jordan is gonna call for a vote tomorrow too. He wants to run for a speaker. He wants them to vote a third time. If he doesn't get it, it's real hard to see where it goes from there because there's so much bad blood amongst the Republicans that whether or not it's intentional or not, it's hard to see them choosing a speaker candidate. And unless the moderate Republicans vote with the Democrats, it's hard to see.
I don't know, man. If I were the Democrats right now, I would be like any of the blue state area Republicans that like on the threat. I'd be like talking to them right now and being like,
yeah,
it's probably gonna be a good idea.
Right. And see what they want. You know, I mean, like this might be an opportunity for them to find like
George Santos wants $244 worth of credit.
And a new ID, new set of IDs.
Oh yeah. Can I have a new identity?
It is kind of weird, but like you can see, I mean, a path forward in like some weird alternate dimension. It's just you're not going to have
George Santos gets a new identity, but he gets to stay in office still. I'm not George Santos. I'm John Lovitz. I'm extraordinaire from SNL and City Slickers too.
I'm Congressperson Kang, a variant.
Kang, I'm Obi.
Yeah,
I'm just a simple Kang variant. Yeah. Your world scares me. Like, that's what he.
Unfrozen caveman warrior.
Your world scares me. Lights? What are those? Dude, that Unfrozen caveman is like the best skits. And that's why we need to get rid of the estate tax.
Exactly. He'd be like, and that's why capital gains over 6% should not be taxed at a rate exceeding the
Your world frightens me.
These big iron birds I see in the sky make me cower in fear.
And that's why we need to remove the tax and capital gains tax.
Yeah.
That'd be great. They can work out a deal with George Santos. He has a new identity. George Santos comes in and he's got like he bleaches his hair blonde and he wears like a pink suit and his name is like Vlad.
My new name is Kuman Tripodi. My new name is
the new name is Guillermo from the vampire. What's that called?
What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows. Yeah. That guy who plays Guillermo played George Santos and on like
that's right
or something.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where it's going. I can see, the only path that makes sense going forward is for them to somehow elevate McHenry to be like have some powers as Speaker pro tem.
Sure, why not? Give that little guy leg up, you know?
Yeah.
He's played by that actor who passed away. What's his name? He was like a little man, little Southern gentleman.
I don't remember.
I just looked up Little Southern. Wait, hold on. Little Southern actor. Let's see. Leslie Jordan that showed up after his rise, Southern drawl, and versatility made him a standout on TV series, including Will and Grace and American Horror Story. Died from not from the car accident last year. Lovable Leslie, just he could pretend to be him.
Right. Well,
I call the court into session.
From what I understand, Jim Jordan's going to try to get elected again tomorrow.
Sure.
I have to think he's going to fail, and then we go into the weekend.
What happens if they do vote for him, though? He wins by like 2 votes or whatever.
Then I think he's Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the House, like it'd be a shit show.
Well, that's the other thing, is that like the moderates may also demand that they can keep that vacate rule in there. I mean, like the root of the problem for the Republicans is that they gave 1 or 2 people basically the permission to call for a new speaker vote.
Yeah, which is just a recipe for chaos.
Yeah, it is.
As much as I don't like Kevin McCarthy, that being in there was always a bad thing.
Yeah, he was a garbage person, but knowing what you're dealing with and getting to deal with that thing consistently is a good thing, ultimately. It's hard to see what happens to the U.S. if they don't get a speaker. My guess is that Biden would have the Attorney General ask the Supreme Court to expedite a ruling as to whether or not McHenry could bring legislation to the floor. I mean, like, I'm sure there'd be some mechanism to put that to the test, but then you get a really weird theoretical question. What if it all is like a fix? And what if the courts say, okay, McHenry, you can put forth legislation, and McHenry's like, I'm good. And they just refuse to govern.
What's shocking? McHenry's like, I want a less comically large-sized gavel. Right. They're like, McHenry, that is actually a child-sized gavel you're holding.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. It is kind of a weird thing to speculate on that would seem impossible otherwise, but seems like a possibility now. What if they do? What if Jim Jordan does become speaker, or any of them, and they just refuse to do shit? Let's say all they want to do is like
literally what they want. They want, and the main thing they want to do, defund Ukraine.
Yeah.
Go after anything to do with January 6th, that like they're going after criminalizing people and sending them to jail. They want to like have hearings about that. Not the opposite though, not
right.
They want to go after Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
It would just be chaos. The problem, they even said that, like Kevin McCarthy, like as shitty as he is, like he would do deals behind the scene just to
sure, yeah.
But no, Jim Jordan would be absolutely horrible.
Yeah, he would be a disaster.
If I were the Biden administration, though, man, you have all that stuff on him, man. Like, come on, dude, use your fucking leverage. This guy protected a fucking serial rapist. Like,
he also was real involved in all the efforts to overthrow the election. I don't know why he's not under indictment somewhere.
You could fucking end this guy.
Yeah. So, yeah. Wow.
I don't know. I don't get it. Like I said, I think things will work. Even if Jim Jordan, like you said, even if Jim Jordan got in, it would not function.
No, it would function maybe even worse than it is now.
Yeah, they would want the government to shut down, because they would want insane They'd
say we need to make cuts in education and Social Security, or else we're not passing a budget.
Get rid of SNAP benefits.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, that's
get rid of. We're not funding the Ukraine. I guarantee you that would be
number one. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of gagging, Trump's gag order.
Yeah, they said it was like a really well designed partial gag order. where he was ordered by the court not to say anything disparaging about
but
the
he still is, right?
He still is. He did something else. I don't know if I don't know how that works. I don't know if the court can simply say, "Hey, we heard about this and now we're addressing it," or whether the prosecutor has to bring it to the court's attention. But yeah, he was legally ordered to shut up, and he didn't, and he's still talking about the people prosecuting him. So theoretically, he is in violation of that gag order.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do about it, if anything. But they said that the gag order was perfectly designed so as to not bring about any free speech issues. She said,
well, the joke, isn't it he can, the only one he can really, what was it? He could attack Pence because Pence is running for president.
Yeah, he could specifically attack Pence because they're running against each other. But she even said, you can criticize the government, you just can't criticize the people. Trump could still get on.
Didn't he dox that judge? Didn't he give out the address or something
like that? But Trump could still get up and say, "I'm not getting a fair trial." That's perfectly legal for him to say, but he can't say Jack Smith is a deranged lunatic who is lying about me. He can't do that.
And here's his address, and this is what his family looks like.
Right.
You want to visit for reasons I don't know. I don't know why you would do that.
So it is. I mean,
it's go and kill his family. Why would you do that for me, your Lord and Savior Trump? Here's the address to the judge. Why don't you give her a gift? Give her an edible arrangement. That's the worst thing you give someone.
Edible arrangement. Yeah, I like edible arrangements. I like those big fruit ones.
Ah, gross.
Oh, they're good.
Here's half of it's ripe. Here's the other half isn't. Enjoy. Here's some melon that is ripe for only 30 seconds.
Eat what you can, and then you freeze the rest and make smoothies or something.
You know where you put it? Right in the trash can. Here's this arrangement that was left outside your house for a day.
Well,
here's some flies for your house. Oh, you like flies? Oh, well, here you go. Some protein comes with the edible arrangements.
Well,
you like gnats? You're so funny. You take the rest and you freeze it to make a healthy smoothie.
That's what we've done with edible arrangements in the past. Wow. It works out wonderfully.
You use it. You can can it and make it preserve.
Yeah,
for later, we use
every part of the edible arrangement. We even
like the Native American,
like the Aboriginal people of our country.
Use the bison.
I make a sled out of the old container, and I make
the sticks.
I string my bow with the sinew from the it is I'm thinking about edible arrangements. I don't know. Trump's gag order is just funny. I think it's funny.
Yeah,
it
is funny.
Legally shut up.
He anything that just restrains this asshole or threatens him. Like I said, I just think it's so funny. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Israel. No, you're not, buddy.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
No, you're not.
It is great too, because it kind of backs him into a corner where he's like, my freedom of speech is being I can't criticize the government, because the judge said you can totally criticize the government. You just can't attack people. You can't you can say you can't attack people, and that's all Trump has is attacking people.
Yeah, that's 90% of that's actually all of it. It's just how's Trump gonna insult this person? Oh my god, he's a genius. That's it. He doesn't have anything else to offer.
No. So it's pretty funny. Even funnier was all his supporters online outraged, freedom of speech is dead and everything. It was
dude, this guy, they talk about this guy like he's a regular person who didn't commit more crimes
92 felonies.
Has more. It's insane. How is this guy allowed to even exist?
Yeah, I mean, he should have an ankle monitor on him. He should. I mean, it's yeah. And anyone else
in a jail cell. Oh, the funniest thing is the joke is that the thing that'll probably end up getting him sent to jail will be his constant obsession with his Mar-a-Lago not being valued.
Yeah, right.
At $1.5 billion. Like somehow that's gonna be the thing that ends up getting him locked up. They'll be like, because some kind of fraud he's trying to commit. Because again, it's like, wait, so you're saying that your property that the judge was it was what they say it was only 18 million, which
something like that,
a lot of money. That seems like a very no, it's not. It's $1 billion. It's what is it called? The thing that fuck, what is it? The Rosebud movie? Rosebud.
Oh, Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane, wasn't it like a thing he was trying to create, like a house or whatever, and it was like Xanadu or something? Or
I think so. Rosebud was the sled.
Yeah, Rosebud was
spoiler
the sled,
alert.
but what Citizen Kane? Yeah, part of the story was like he was trying to make like the biggest property, and then there was.
I think you're right.
The something of Versailles. Remember that documentary that came out years ago?
Yeah.
This like hotel magnate. They're trying to create like recreate the House of Versailles or something.
Yeah.
And
I think that was the Vanderbilt. The Vanderbilt mansion was that, right? Was that it?
I don't know. Yeah, so that was like a plot in Citizen Kane, I think. It was like kind of like
building this. Yeah.
So he's trying to like first of all, the funny thing about Mar-a-Lago too is like everything about Mar-a-Lago is illegal because it's like a hotel that he lives at or something.
He specifically got like a variance, or he got some deal if he promised it wasn't his private residence, and then immediately upon leaving the presidency, he made
like the second White House.
Yeah. Oh.
And he was using his presidency he like tripled his rates.
Yeah, and he booked out because like everyone wanted a ticket there.
In DC. He had that hotel in DC, and they were like, they basically like it was a way to like con any foreign dignitaries and have to stay there. Oh, you want to do business with me? Yeah, you might want to stay at the Trump Hotel.
Exactly. Yeah, you might want to get the penthouse.
You like the bed bugs, the best, most beautiful bed bugs.
Brent bed bug. Who's that? Brett Stevens.
Bugs, they're the best kind. They're the ones that burrow into your skin.
It's filled with little Brett Stevenses.
Do you like pubes? Well, don't worry, because the showers at the Trump Hotel are covered with the most beautiful bouquet of pubes that no one cleans them.
Well, he did make a lot of money.
The sheets because we like to preserve the semen of the dignitaries that come in. I remember it was like a video. It was like a couple months after Trump was out of office, and they showed how empty that hotel was.
Oh yeah,
because they are like, hey, we don't have to fucking stay here anymore. We were being like, the Trump presidency was using it like it was such a grift, that presidency, everything about it. And so this fucking asshole's claiming that Mar-a-Lago is worth like $1 billion, and how dare that judge say it's only worth 18 million? And it's like, dude, so you're saying that you're assessing that your property is worth that much. Do you know what property taxes are? I would imagine you would prefer to pay property taxes on an $18 million residence versus the property tax of $1 billion+ right? I would imagine the discrepancy would be quite a bit.
That was the one thing that I was kind of like hit or miss on, is that theoretically the Florida sets their property taxes weird. They like cap them. So you could have a home worth like, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're only getting it taxed at a rate of like 200,000.
Okay.
That does legitimately happen in Florida.
So that's why he's probably doing that, because he knows he can get away with. He won't get like someone looking in and being like, "Oh yeah, your property is worth like actually this. Okay, here you owe us like."
Yeah, he
like $100 million in taxes.
It is like a weird quirk of the way Florida taxes property and everything.
What are lunatic. Like, what a fucking nut job. Yeah, we were told that your house was assessed at 18 million. No, it's not. It's with a billion, zillion, trillion, quadrillion.
It's just such a losing argument for him. And the judge, even when they said it, they just threw it out there. It's like, oh, this is what it was assessed at. And then Trump was infuriated that it was assessed so low. But of course, he doesn't want to pay taxes on higher of an assessment. I don't know. He's like such a clown, you know.
Well, this was the same asshole after 9/11 when he's being interviewed. This was literally, I don't know if it was on 9/11 or like the day after, and he's bragging about how his building
is, yeah.
Like, oh, that building. Well, guess what? Trump Towers building is the biggest building in all of New York City.
Yeah.
Is that what you have to say, Trump? The
so
best
weird.
cubes in the bathroom are at the Trump Tower. We don't clean the rooms. Bring a dog and let them pedal everywhere. Trump Tower is 90% urine. Dog pedal.
Bring your black light. Bring your black light.
Don't bring your back. Do us a favor. Do not bring a black light. I promise you will not like what you see. Unless you like Jackson Pollocks.
Yeah.
Are you a big fan of
Jackson monochrome Pollocks? Jackson Pollocks?
What?
Monochrome Jackson Pollocks. Like if he painted only in purple and white. If he
Are you a big fan of Jackson Pollock? Then come down to Mar-a-Lago with the backlight. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, even the billboards would be like, "Come on down."
Well, there's a skit or something. I don't know. It was on like SNL over years ago, and there was like a black light at a hotel or something, and there was like this everything just covered in shit, everything. And like even people, it was so disgusting.
That was an episode of The Office too. I think I remember that SNL skit, but on The Office there was one where Dwight and Michael shared a hotel room, and I guess Dwight brought a black light to all the hotel rooms.
Oh my God, I would die. I'd rather not know that.
And he goes, that's got to be blood or urine. No, he's like semen or blood, and Michael's like, please let it be blood. Like, please.
Everyone prefers blood. You not? Are you a fan of modern art?
Modern art.
What we call Pollock surrealism or whatever.
Jasper John's a little tame for you. Jasper John.
The best Jackson Pollocks are in Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. Right.
Sir, I haven't seen Jackson. I came to Mar-a-Lago and I have not seen one Jackson Pollock hanging up. Did you bring your black light?
Not in the daylight. Yeah. Oh. Well,
feature we have.
You know, a weird thing happened today that we didn't talk about. We didn't have it on our list either. Was Sydney? I almost said Sidney Pollack, that old director.
Pollack, the director of
Tootsie. Who's the Kraken lady? Sydney. What
would Trump say about Tootsie?
So yeah,
she's a 2.
Sidney Powell, not Sidney Powell. She pled guilty today.
Played by Lurch from
she pled guilty today to a bunch of misdemeanors and agreed to testify against Trump.
Now, who is Sidney Powell again? Just for that.
She was the Kraken lady. She was one of the Trump attorneys that really pushed hard against Dominion and against. She just like was a real big election denier.
Yeah, she's been doing like the QAnon circuit for a while now too.
So she agreed to plead guilty today to, I think, 6 misdemeanor counts. She's getting a really light sentence. She's getting 6 years of probation, a fine of like $9,000, and she has to write an apology letter to the state of Georgia. And then she's agreed to testify against Donald Trump.
Oh, shit.
So that's like a big deal.
I do not like this Sydney lady. I never met her.
Never met her.
Never met her. I don't know who this person is. I don't.
Well, the theory is that she got off so lightly that people assume the prosecution knows she'll deliver in good
or
testimony.
She has delivered already.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So a lot of people this morning, before the speaker stuff got going again, and before the Israel-Palestine talk got going, a lot of people were just saying how devastating that is for Trump that Sidney Powell has agreed to testify.
Do you know who would play Sidney Powell in the Trump case movie?
Who?
Fred Gwynn from the Monsters. Fred Gwynn, who's been dead like maybe 25 years, but that's not going to stop him.
No. Role of a lifetime. Well, speaking of movie characters, speaking of movie characters that could double as current Republican politicians, I saw someone caption scenes from Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame with Sarah Huckabee quotes, and I haven't. No, I took the podium from the Sarah Huckabee Sanders scandal and photoshopped it in front of the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Right. Which I thought that was just a picture of Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Right. A lot of people did.
Yeah. Now I'll say this, and people will be like, "You can't make fun of her." Yes, you can.
Yeah. Her. Yeah.
You can. Yeah. Especially her. She's the person who made a big deal about making it easy for underage kids to.
Yeah. Those kids look like.
Stop trying to get educated. Go get a job, you lazy shit. Go work in a fucking steel mill at the age of 12.
The kids in that photo look like
fingers are overrated.
The Baudelaires from Lemony Snicket books.
Yeah.
They just looked like wretched, you know.
Dude, that photo, my God, she's like her fucking her whatever she calls a smile. She's like fucking smirking, grinning, angry all at the same time. There's a lot of every emotion just happening. Like there's a lot going on that face.
She looks a lot like, I don't know if you stayed with The Walking Dead long enough to see that episode where Negan hit Glenn with a baseball bat.
Yes,
but that's
after like the fourth hit.
Yeah, that is what Sarah Huckabee Sanders looks like for the most part.
I remember the first hit and his eyes were just like,
oh
God, it was so brutal.
That was rough.
Amazing. Yeah, she's awful. And I guess she's under some scrutiny. Everyone's like, oh, she's done. Nothing's gonna happen to her. No, there's no chance for
Here's the weird thing. This is the scandal, the best I can tell. The first thing she did when she got in office was the same thing Ron DeSantis did, which was tighten up the information that people could receive regarding her travel. She didn't want anyone knowing where she was going, what she was doing. So anyway,
they'll claim it's for security reasons, but that's bullshit.
Right. So anyway, this blogger out of a town in Arkansas started doing freedom of information requests for receipts from, the purchases from the governor's office. And they found a receipt for a lectern that cost $19,000. And the guy was like, that's a fucking lot of money for a lectern.
Right. Yeah. And, like the podium thing, right?
Right. Well, it's apparently
for like $200.
Right. Well, this one apparently came with a carrying case. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
Wow.
So the guy's like, well, where's this lectern? And eventually the Huckabee Sanders produced it. And then the guy's like, well, I'm looking at the receipt and this isn't what is described.
This is an Arby's receipt?
Yeah, this is...
So Arby's, what?
That is a paper towel box with... So... Anyways, it turns out the guy keeps digging, and the company that makes the lectern, or the company that generated the receipt, doesn't make lecterns.
It's like a friend, right?
And it turns out it's a friend of hers. And then, as it turns out, they all went to Paris together. So the theory is that
well, she is the Hunchback of Notre Dame, so
right. So the theory is that
everyone's got to go home once in a while, visit the family.
Her ancestral homeland,
or the gargoyles that they would talk to on top of.
So the theory is that Huckleberry and this woman took a Paris vacation together, and they didn't want to pay for it, so
why would you when you could just write off for?
They stole money, and then if they just stole money, they probably would have gotten away with it. But they generated this fake receipt, and it was
a receipt to a.
Right. It was just such a stupid scandal. Like there would have been a million ways you could do that better. Like there's a bunch of ways you could do it better, but they didn't. They did this way. Right. And so as it turns out, it's pissed off some Republicans in the state. And I don't know the dynamics, because I do agree with you. I don't think anything's going to come up.
Nothing's going to happen there.
I don't think anything's going to happen to her. However, every once in a while, and this happens maybe 1 out of 100 times, they piss off the wrong person, right? Like maybe a couple Republicans had a pet pork project in their district, and
you say pork?
Huckleberry didn't give it to them, or maybe one.
She's like on Ozempic too, like because she's like half what she was like a year ago.
Yeah.
Her and Fergaccio Below is also on Ozempic.
Well,
I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I believe it. But I think it's entirely possible that she does go down for this. I don't think it'll happen. I think it's like a 1 out of 100 chance.
She's so protected. I'd be shocked that, if you want to be hysterical, that's what you go down for, just $19,000. I feel like that's a dinner at some places.
Especially because she's so wealthy. The family's so wealthy. This is the equivalent of me stealing like a $10 printer cartridge at work, or something like that. Why would you, if you have that much money, why would you steal a Paris? You just go on a Paris vacation. She could probably make $19,000 with a speech. Why would you do that? It's just
the joke is, it's probably, if she stole that, I guarantee you, there's way more, hundreds of thousands of dollars that have probably been grifted since she's become governor.
True.
And that's, again, what's the thing you do right away? You get in office, you try to make sure no one knows your flight logs. Why? Oh no, because I want to go on all kinds of trips with my friend to around.
You go to lobbyists' offices and stuff. Yeah.
It's and it goes back to even your Boberts and stuff. It seems like it's amazing how these people are able to abuse government. These talentless hacks who really just want to be famous, and they're famous in their weird right-wing bubble circles.
Yep.
But they want to live the high life. I said, I remember Dinesh D'Souza, whatever, had a movie come out, whatever, and it was all the right-wing stars came to the premiere, and they're having a red carpet and all that.
Yeah, they love that shit.
They want it so bad, but they have no talent. They have horrible ideas. Not
shitty takes.
They're shitty people. They're awful. That's why none of them are going to make it in Hollywood or any type of thing, any type of beloved industry. You can say whatever you want about Hollywood. They make things that people like.
Yeah.
You consume it and enjoy it. Some isn't good. Some is good. Just like any other product,
Yeah.
And these people, they want that so bad.
Oh, yeah, for
George
sure.
Santos, Bobert, all these failed theater kids, all these failed, talentless hacks who, they found a niche and they're in, the right-wing grift, that they want to live the style because of Fox News elevates them, and all these other right-wing medias elevate them. They're they're celebrities too, and they want that celebrity lifestyle as well as real celebrities. Politicians, not to say they don't live a good life or anything like that, but a real politician, they're not going to movie most of the time.
No.
Not usually. Some do, whatever. Or they're invited to it, at least, to a real movie premiere. Now, Dinesh D'Souza fucking propaganda fest.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I was like, what? I remember seeing like pictures and they all act like they're at this like red carpet. It's like when Ben Shapiro's like, we have to make stuff that generates we have to control the culture. You know, like, yeah, that I mean, there's some truth to what he's saying. He's ridiculous,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they want to emulate it so bad. So Huckabee, whose dad is former governor, but he's also like a celebrity. You know, he's been a talk show host for years in the right wing circuits and been a. Are you looking for your cat or something?
This cat's driving me nuts.
Is he going to the? You were opening the cupboard, and I was like, "Gonna say, is the cat in there?"
No, the cat is like stalking me.
Dude, at some point we're gonna be talking. The cat's just gonna lunge at you. Oh, there he is. That's one of them. Who's that?
Yeah.
Smelly?
This is Astro. He's like this orange cat, and he's like a total psycho. And he's used
right now he just looks like a cuddly little friend.
Nah, he's like a flirkin. He looks just like the flirkin too. Same
does look kind like the flirkin. Yeah.
Anyway, he gets treats before I go to bed each night, and so now he's out here like demanding his treats. Usually, yeah, he's like, "What the fuck?" You're like,
sometimes my wife gets out of work early. Some days, like, and like the cat's confused and thinks it's time for dinner. It's like, no, dick.
It's 2 p.m.
Yeah,
go back to bed. Go back to
yeah, like fuck off. You're not getting. No, I'm kidding. I don't say it there. Yeah. So like I said, so it makes sense that Huckabee would do shit like this, and I guarantee you, this is not the only thing she's done. She's stole so much. Her and her friend, like her friend.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing.
What shocked me was these people are all fucking hypocrites.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that would make sense.
Did you see that? Wait, did you see her recently though? This is really funny. She's like, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sander signs an executive order to ban woke anti-women words like pregnant people from state government documents.
I saw that.
It's the left that decided woman is a dirty word. That decided we need to toss out basic biology and basic grammar. Right? That's how she sounds, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Her does she have children?
What? Yeah, she's married, has a bunch of kids.
Yeah. I just imagine.
Oh my god, those mutants. No, I'm kidding. I haven't seen what they look like.
Well,
SKK's 3 when Belial has kids. They're just like little sponges that get thrown around. Like,
one of them keeps hitting the other with a fly swatter, saying "bad toad."
You ever see Ed, and Eddie? They kind of look like
that. Yeah.
You ever see Squidbillies? Somehow uglier.
Well, the thing is that like Arkansas, like I don't want to. I mean, like there's parts of Arkansas that are beautiful. There's parts of Arkansas that are.
It's really nice. Oh,
the Ozarks, Hot Springs is really nice. Little Rock's real fun, beautiful town. But like, look, parts of Arkansas and that Mississippi Delta have really significant problems. You know, I mean, they're just like very impoverished. But you got your work cut out for you if you want to be the governor of Arkansas and make Arkansas.
Shit. Yeah, but they don't. She's a grifter. She wants to live off her name. She wants a celebrity. She wants to put out dumb shit like this, which I could see. It's the left that decided women is a dirty word. Like I could see her putting in saying pregnant people. The anti like that. I could see that backfiring against her. Like, a company wants to I don't know, fire someone for being pregnant. And now the language cannot be, you have to use that language because Sarah Huckabee Sander signed it in. It's
right. I mean,
that shit just legally backfiring against the chuds that wanted that.
But often that stuff does have the capacity to backfire. You know, whether it does is another matter. But
she's a fucking joke. You know, she's a female DeSantis. She wants to go on TV, say dumb shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, that's why Californians are moving to Arkansas.
I don't think that's happening.
Are you sure about that?
Right.
Hey, listen, Arkansas, like you said, I've been to Arkansas several times. It's nice areas.
Yep, sure.
But no. Yeah. I mean, like maybe if you live in Redding, California.
Yeah. Look, I saw Doc.
If you're living in San Francisco or LA or any of those areas, Unless something drastic happens to your life, you are not moving to Arkansas.
Yeah. Doc Hollywood was a movie. All right. That never happened. You didn't have.
What was a TV show? What was it called? The one with the guy moves in with the, the rich guy moves into town, Green Acres.
Yeah.
TV show.
Right. Right. Which is essentially like because it's funny, the was it Eva or Zsa Zsa Gabor? Anyway, it's like a
Eva Gabor.
Melania Trump type wife. Like
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
I don't know.
She's trash. And it's sad because it's like, I remember right after she like left the Trump presidency, and it was literally like the year of the election, right?
Yeah.
She won 2020.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
That they announced that she's going to run for governor there, and Trump was like, she's going to be a great governor, which is like a nice way of saying she's going to be absolute garbage.
Yeah.
I knew it. I would go out. I had this guy who would invite me out. I would do like some art shows there. I remember talking about it. And, he was like very progressive, and he was like, "Yeah, it's like that's it. There's nothing we can do about it. It's like she announced she's running for governor. Just hand it to her because she's gonna win."
Well, she was a legacy candidate.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, she's the fucking legacy hire. I remember seeing her on Fox. This was before she was on in the Trump White House. Like she was like on Fox, and I'd just be like, who is this grating? Just nasty. Well, her voice is awful. She sounds like someone from like a bad 80s movie. Like her voice is like.
Yeah. The weird thing is, what did she do something before she was Trump's press secretary? Like
she was like a Fox News commentator. She's just like she's a legacy hire.
Yeah, that's the thing is that like I don't think she, not that everyone's got to have like a stellar resume or whatever, but
she's a legacy hire. She didn't have to do shit.
I don't think she did anything. Yeah, it says Sanders had no experience in governing for most of her career. She was a political consultant and campaign insider to her dad, and then she was a field coordinator for Bush. That's probably where she got like a little traction. And then she got hired by Trump. She never really did anything. And then they made her governor. She has like no experience, no, I don't know, inclination towards good governing or anything.
No. She's and then, like I said, the podium thing is just, it's an icing on the cake. I mean, like, I'm not shocked by this at all. And that's why I think it's funny if that thing that brought her down was just something that's $19,000.
Yeah.
Like I said, to me, that's a lot of money. I would like to have $19,000.
Oh yeah,
that would make it. That would definitely be it would be a better year. But like for her, $19,000. Like I said, they could fucking claim that like a dinner out or a weekend with like some do with the government or whatever.
Yeah,
that's 19 grand. Or like, oh, we hosted an event.
Plenty of governors just go places, and plenty of governors just go places and say it's like a economic development trip or whatever.
Fuck she needs to go to Paris for?
Yeah,
she wanted to go to Israel, which I thought was hysterical.
Yeah. I would just love to know what she did in Paris, like if she just like went to the.
Got her fuck on, dude. Probably did like a ton of drugs and shit.
I would imagine her
like they're just people, man. They want to have a good time, just like anyone else. They're just, like I said, they're talentless hacks. They're celebrities in their own little bubble. They think that, and because their ego is built up so much. Like, remember, in the right-wing bubble, Kyle Rittenhouse is a
celebrity.
Yeah. She was probably hanging out with Kyle Rittenhouse in Paris. Oh wow, what a beautiful couple.
Tell him the Moulin Rouge.
I love you too, Sarah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just always kind of fear Kyle Rittenhouse to talk more like Sling Blade, like.
Oh yeah, French fried taters with Sanders.
Yeah,
in Paris, in gay Paris. I guarantee you, this is like you're gonna find out there's been tons of shit. It doesn't.
Well, that's the thing. Is that Yeah, of course, this wouldn't be the first one. But oof,
Oh, this is
right.
great. This is the one. This is about this is her trying to defend herself. Because it's come up a
Oh
bunch.
yeah, yeah.
All right, wait, let me get the sound up. Sarah Huckabee Sanders is corrupt and she wants the media to stop reporting on it.
Because I figure if I do, then you would talk about nothing else instead of the important actions that we're actually taking today, which unfortunately is not surprising that while we are focused on things that actually impact our state and impact Arkansans, the media wants to spend all of their time focused on things that frankly don't.
Yeah,
Any
and
other questions?
And the thing she was focused on that day was banning the word or the phrase pregnant people. Like that is not a pressing matter for Arkansans. I can guarantee you it's not.
Such bullshit. I know, but that's the problem is like the majority of people fall for that bullshit. And then they're like crying about like how everything costs so much.
Right. Why the last like maternity ward in the state closed down.
Like you keep electing these clowns who they don't care, dude. Like like I said, they'll let the world burn. They're as long as they get to go to their fake movie premieres, get to be their asses kissed on Fox News, or be a little celebrity in their world. It's fucking crazy,
It is really bizarre,
and they get away with it. Like I said,
yeah. And
Lauren
they will.
Boebert thing,
I mean,
if a Democrat did even 1/10 of what she did that night, they'd be like calling for her to be like, they'd be saying that she needs to be in jail.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's for sure. That was like super egregious.
I mean, she was blowing fat plumes.
Well, she was like engaged in like a sex act in public, like with children around and stuff. Yeah. I mean, I'm still surprised that nothing came of that.
I'm amazed at that shit. Like the difference is, you see, that's the difference between right wing and the left in this country. There's no left wing media. First of all, no real left wing media. Not in the mainstream.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Because if that was true, Lauren Boebert's story would be brought constantly. But like I said, if the AOC did it or any other Democrats did even 1/5, 10th, or whatever that Boebert did that night, they would be bringing it up forever. They still bring up the fucking Swalwell thing, and there's no truth to that thing where he's like supposedly sleeping with a Chinese spy. Like,
I constantly see that. Yeah, there's no truth to it. And...
But like the left never holds on to this shit.
No, well, you're right, because there's like Fox News will drive these narratives and other stations will report on the Fox News reporting, but there's not a commensurate big media left-wing outlet.
And the problem is, if you watch real left-wing media, they don't want to focus on the Boebert thing.
They're more like intellectual.
They don't want to talk about the sensational shit because they actually want to get something done.
Yeah, they're going to do a story about like labor rights violations or something like that, not focus on like Lauren Boebert's hand job.
We do
right?
Both. No, we can't, unfortunately. Like, that's not how it works.
Just do the last 5 minutes on that.
Like, first 5 every top of the hour.
Yeah.
Talk about Boebert's hand job.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you're right. Like, it's good that there aren't left-wing media outlets focused on hand jobs. But it's frustrating, it's frustrating because like, even if CNN and MSNBC don't run those salacious stories, those bullshit stories, they eventually wind up reporting on them only because they have to, because like a third of the country is talking about it because they saw it on Fox.
Well, the type of people that like that shit usually are like people who are idiots and don't want to follow real the people who do follow left-wing media, who do like real left-wing media, not bullshit fake ones, but real left-wing media, progressive cause, stuff like that. Those people are usually kind of involved. They're involved with unions. They're involved. Like, so these are like the more serious persons, the more academic usually.
Yeah.
They would not tolerate the Boebert stuff. They wouldn't. And that's why
they go elsewhere.
That there's a special hole that YSGOAT is willing to fill. You just give us $1 million a year.
2 hours of hand job stories each night.
We will talk endlessly. We'll make sound effects. We'll bump up the production of this show.
Yep. Oh yeah. Maybe even do video with blacklight.
At Mar-a-Lago. Don't do that. Please, for the love of God, do not bring a little light to Mar-a-Lago. You will not like what you see. Did you ever see the movie Street Trash?
No, geez.
Or the movie The Stuff?
Like gladiator movies.
You ever the movie The Stuff? Did you ever see that? It's like
was that the Blob ripoff?
It's kind of. It's like it's a dessert that people are eating, and then you find out it's like killing people. And then
I do remember that.
Like a blob. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
You ever see you like gladiator films? Well, if you do, you would love to come to Mar-a-Lago.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah. Well, on that note.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's the show. That was all
show,
of our topics.
We'll see what happens next week. We'll see if we have functioning government.
Debatable, yeah.
We'll see. Oh, there'll probably be a 4th episode of Loki.
Yeah, depending on, we'll probably, if we do it Wednesday, we won't be
able to talk about it. Won't be talking about Loki.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, how it goes. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll air Loki a day early. Or maybe we'll just make up something.
Right. Give Loki predictions.
And then we could say we saw a variant episode.
So a variant screener.
A variant screener, and said probably not going to be Loki. And it's just the plot.
Yeah.
From an old I don't know,
Doc Hollywood.
Doc Hollywood. Yeah, just Doc Hollywood script. Yeah, it's weird.
So Loki pulls into a small town. And his car breaks down.
Yep, his big city ideas. Actually, there's a great part of Doc Hollywood. We'll wrap the podcast in a sec.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of the movie. I just remember this one part where there's a kid and he's having like severe problems, like he can't breathe or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's ready to like open this kid's chest up. And then the old doctor's like gives the kid like a can of Coke to drink. He just had like severe gas and needed to like belch. And he's like, "Yo, me 65 cents." And I think it was played by
Fred Gwynn,
the guy who wanted to turn Kermit the Frog into frog legs in the Muppet movie.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, that guy is great. But I think I remember that. Like,
I can see that.
Was ready to
do like a
open up this kid and massage his heart or whatever. And the other doctor's like, just get a mule to kick him in the back.
Nice.
You got to use some cup of urine, pour in his ear, and everything was fine.
Oh yeah, classic Doc Hollywood.
Just got to get a leech, put it on the kid.
Yuck.
Old time, colloquial. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, Justin, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about
that?
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.